the franchisees have seen, like, letting a player go. When did I last see something like this? I think what RCB had done with Chris Morris, where they thought that they were paying him a little too much at around 10 crores, so they let him go and then pursue it till 9.5 crore again when they went after him. So I don't know how these things work. Probably is it about taking a chance and seeing that if I can buy him back cheaper at the auctions,
But when you know that you have a player as good as you have, I mean, there has to be some sort of, some sort of brainstorming that needs to go in before you let him go, or even before you purchase them back. Because this amount for which they have bought him, I mean, they could have easily bolstered their their batting lineup much better.
Yeah, I mean, they don't need that much. I mean, we're talking about Sam Curran, right?
Yeah.
But Punjab Kings didn't let him go. I'm sorry to correct you there. It was Chennai Super Kings before the mega auction.
Okay.
And he did not enter the auction last year because he was injured.
Oh, okay.
So Sam Curran has entered the auction afresh this year. Punjab Kings have bought him for the first time.
All right.
He walks straight away. And again, Punjab Kings, they don't need much. I mean, their batting lineup is fixed. So much so that they have to let go of Mayank Agarwal because, and he was their captain last year. So you have Shikhar Dhawan, Liam Livingstone, Johnny Bairstow up there, and then you have Kagiso Rabada, who's leading their bowling lineup. And now you have somebody who's partnering them, Sam Curran. He's a very, really reliable all-rounder there.
And who do we have now? Is Jason
We have
Holder.
Odion Smith, who is, I'm guessing...
No, Jason
it's
Holder.
Jason Holder, sorry.
Yeah. So we have Chennai and Rajasthan. So again, Chennai now have to find a replacement for Sam Curran. And, they went really high. So, they need to find somebody who's an all-rounder who fits that same mold. And again, because they have to replace Dwayne Bravo in that playing lineup. And that's what they were trying to do with Sam Curran, get him back. And now they have to do that with Jason Holder. And interestingly, it's Rajasthan Royals who have entered it, which is something that I don't understand. But yeah, there we are.
But again, correct me if I'm wrong, Chetan, Holder was with Chennai Super Kings.
He was with
right?
LSG.
He was but at some point he was with
Sunrisers
Chennai.
and then LSG. I'm not sure if he was. Was he with CSK? I don't remember.
No.
Okay.
I just think so.
No, I know he was with LSG in the last season and he was let go.
But before that, he was with Sunrisers.
Right, exactly.
Now, LSG let him go, I think, probably with the whole, this thing that again, I mean, this is, you can never predict these things, but I thought they wanted money to raise for Ben Stokes.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, they have 23 crores.
Who do you think is going to bid the hardest for Ben Stokes?
LSG. Definitely. I think that's what we discussed at one point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I really was thinking that, probably Sunrisers would have been in the race for.
But
they found the captain.
But why not Hyderabad? I think they still have the biggest purse.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a massive bidding thing. I expect Mumbai Indians to go hard with Ben Stokes because again, I'm going to say this again. The last time when he went for 14 crores, Rajasthan Royals had bagged him. He was the most expensive buy at that time. Mumbai Indians had gone hard for Ben Stokes and they lost out, in the end because Rajasthan went up as high as 14 crores. So, and Mumbai Indians have shown their hand. They're looking for an all-rounder. They're looking for an all-rounder, looking for a reliable, big money all-rounder. That's where Mumbai have shown their hand today.
And I'm pretty sure that Sam Curran was only the first of half a dozen names that they have earmarked right now.
I mean, they always have backups.
Exactly.
They always have backups.
Exactly.
They always have two players, and that's where Sam Curran was a backup when, for a couple side. Who did Jason Holder go to?
Jason Holder, hold on, I'll just get you on one on that. Okay, so yeah, he went to CSK for 5.75, Jason Holder.
Amazing.
So Chennai buying him back. By the way, Sam Curran was part of the Punjab team. Back in 2019, he was part of that squad and he was let go.
Apologies for that. So yeah, Jason Holder, 5 crores with CSK.
And this one is Cameron Green, and this is another player who is going to go for a pretty big number. He's already at 6.5. So it'll be very interesting to see who is going to go after him. So we can see RCB, Mumbai Indians already at...
Are they in the race?
Yeah, both of them.
Right.
Am I there? Raising their paddle very happily.
But I think Royal Challengers, another 2 more bids, they'll be out. They'll have to be out.
Yes, because they have, 8 crores left?
8.7,
Yes.
That's it.
But again, you know what? I won't be really surprised if Cameron Green is again going to make franchises break the bank just like Sam Curran did. See, that's their plan B. They couldn't go after Sam. Right now, they're going after Green.
And he is a batting all-rounder. He bowls as well.
Okay, so this I think Delhi has entered the fray. Delhi need a batter. Delhi need a good, solid batter somewhere in the middle, and
they need an all-rounder as well because Mitchell Marsh doesn't bowl. Mitchell Marsh doesn't bowl.
No, Mitchell Marsh doesn't bowl. They've let go of Shardul Thakur.
as
So
well.
they need an all-rounder.
They need an all-rounder.
But at the same time, I think Ricky Ponting is still coaching Delhi, right?
Yes, he is.
So I'm pretty sure that he would want one of his best Australian batsmen to be there. He did that. He did that with Marcus Stoinis. He literally remade his T20 career by keeping him in Delhi.
And I think one of our conversations, Srini, I told you Cameron Green would be the most expensive buy. So 18.5. Could we go higher? Than 18.
It's already at 12.75.
Yes.
And I think Delhi has backed out. No.
The bid is with Mumbai Indians at 13 crores.
Yeah, but I really doubt that Delhi is going to go beyond this. Oh, they are going ahead. Okay.
What's the purse?
Delhi's purse right now stands at 19.45. So I really doubt that they're going to go beyond this.
So interestingly, I mean, the teams that are bidding for Cameron Green right now, their budget is maxed out at 19 and 20. So we are looking at one of those teams just spending literally their entire budget on one player. That could happen. That could happen here. They're going hard for him. It's 14.75. Delhi are having a conversation whether...
I really doubt Delhi will go beyond this because they need a good, solid all-rounder.
They have 15.25, Delhi.
Wow. Did Delhi purchase anybody during the off-season? Because they need an all-rounder. They struggled without the presence of an all-rounder in the previous season. So they need somebody who can be there, give them 2 good overs and also score about 30-40 runs.
Let me just take a look at Delhi.
This is a Mumbai-Delhi battle.
And Mumbai is still at it, 16 crores.
16 crores, spending their entire budget on one player.
Well, I think they're going to go the whole hog, yeah. How far did they go for Sam Curran?
15.
Yeah, exactly.
15.
So somewhere I think this is
Wow,
where...
Delhi is still in it. Delhi, I think, is going to blow its entire purse on Cameron Green.
So Mumbai Indians is 20.55 CR and Delhi
has 19.45.
So we're looking at Cameron Green getting at least 19 today, the way this is going.
I think it's with Delhi now.
So if you look at
16.75 crore.
Yeah, so if you look at what Delhi have done.
Oh no, 17. Mumbai is back in it. So Cameron Green will now become the second most expensive IPL player.
I think he's going to be the most expensive. It's just at 17. It's a matter of
exactly.
No, but nobody else is bidding for him. I'm really surprised that Sunrisers did not get in because they still need that.
It's also about how many overseas spots they have left because they've already got Aiden Markram, they've got Harry Brooks. I think that's 2 spots.
Yeah, so they have 2 more slots left.
Yes.
They have 2 more foreign slots left.
Right, and Mumbai Indians haven't really spent on anyone else right now, so they still have a good...
Mumbai has just about 2.5 crore after this. If this goes through to Mumbai,
yes,
okay,
Mumbai got it.
Wow.
Mumbai have got
there
it.
you go.
Wow,
I think that's
the
replacement. Probably, that's how you can put it. I mean, there's no replacement for Karen Pollard, but then.
No, but it's a long-term replacement as well because this is a young guy we're
Yes,
talking about.
yes,
We're talking about 12
but,
years.
But do you
minimum.
think he is going to be a like-for-like replacement for Karen Pollard?
That only time will tell.
No, see, look, I don't think he's going to be like-for-like because he is...
Ben Stokes is coming up.
No disrespect to Kieran Pollard, he's a better batsman.
Right.
He bats in the top 4. And I think he bowls more frequently than what Pollard has done for Mumbai Indians. There's no replacement for Pollard in a like-to-like sense. A tremendous fielder, tremendous athlete, given his size and everything, what he's done for Mumbai Indians. But, you're looking at the next 10, 12 years, maybe he brings a different element because we look at Mumbai Indians, there's a different energy about them,
Right.
Tristan Stubbs, and then you have Deval Brevis in their middle, and you have Tilak Verma, youngsters really coming up, Ishan Kishan.
But then, Chetan, won't the whole question of availability come in? Because, okay, this is one of those rare IPL seasons where you have both Australian and English players available throughout the season.
Yes.
But like what we saw, I think, last season and the season before last, we had Australian players walking out.
It happens. It happens. But then, obviously, if they're available next season, which is important because they have the Ashes coming up. So
Right.
the fact that they're available before an Ashes, that's important. Also, if a player is not available, then you also have that purse available to you. That you can buy an alternative or pick an alternative, either in the mini auction or a mega auction, whatever happens that particular year, or you can just pick from whoever had entered the auction list.
Right.
So. Right now, they have banked a major future IPL star, major future T20 star for Australian team.
Right.
It was really surprising that he didn't get a go in the T20 World Cup. So, I mean, Aaron Finch played. I mean, he was a direct, opening partner for Aaron Finch, for David Warner there.
Right.
So, this is a mega buy for the next 10 years, if not more, for Mumbai Indians.
Very true, very true. I really think that they've got the job done there. If not Curran, then Green, this is as good as it gets, and I really think they're on the ball. What's happening right now is Rajasthan Royals is bidding for Ben Stokes. This is such a brilliant story if he comes back home, because the last time when Rajasthan Royals had bought Ben Stokes, he was going through one of the most difficult phases of his life.
Exactly.
His father was unwell. He had to take a break from the IPL, go back home. And this will be a proper homecoming for Stokes.
But LSG
quite a
seems
reunion.
that they are not ready to give up on him yet.
And Sunrisers
now
have
Sunrisers have
entered.
also
there you
entered.
go, yeah.
Sunrisers have also entered.
Well, Sunrisers probably what, a captain in store. I mean, I
Yeah,
thought,
definitely. They're looking for a.
I
They're
thought
looking
this is
for
where
a.
it was going to
They're
head.
looking for a batsman. They're looking for a captain.
Okay.
Sunrisers.
Sunrisers, yeah.
I think that's sealed with Mayank Agarwal. I don't think they'll make the mistake.
How
of
much money do
buying Ben
LSG
Stokes.
have? I really want to know.
LSG
has
has. Hold on, I'll
23,
tell you how much they have.
Okay, and
LSG has about 23.35,
23, yeah.
and so far they have not bought any players. So that
Right.
full kitty is with them.
And that's what we had thought.
well,
I
actually,
mean,
they have more money than Sunrisers.
to spend on Ben Stokes.
Yes.
Yeah.
To spend on one player, yes, they could just spend 23 crores on him.
Yes.
Because their team is settled. They reached the
Yes.
top 4. So they just need to complete the jigsaw
Yes.
puzzle really.
And,
And they released Jason Holder to make way
Make
for
space for him,
Ben
yeah.
Stokes.
Exactly, and I think
Ben Stokes
we were,
already at 14 crores, guys.
Yes.
Already at 14 crores, and it's still going up. I think as far as the smaller auctions goes, I think this will break all records because we already have the highest
Yes.
paid, the second highest paid, and this guy could end up breaking both those records. Okay, Hyderabad is pulled back.
Yes, because again,
Hyderabad is out.
yes, because they spent a lot of money on Harry Brooks and they got a first 11 player and they have an entire team to build. Get 3-4 more
Yes.
starting players and get bench strength together. So they can't afford to spend that much money again on one player. You can't afford 2 players at 13 crores
True,
when
true.
you're building an entire squad.
whereas
Okay,
Lucknow
LSG and
Super
Chennai
Giants
Super
in
Kings.
getting
Wow.
Jason Holder go.
Chennai
Chennai
Super
Super
Kings.
Kings.
Chennai Super
Chennai
Kings.
Super
entered
Kings has
15.
entered. So Chennai, with that purse of 20.4 crores, have already bid 16.5.
And they went hard for Sam Curran. So again, like I mentioned earlier, they probably came in with a list that we need an all-rounder, and they got Jason
And
Holder.
probably a future captain.
And probably a future captain. So you're looking at, they went hard for Sam Curran, and then they thought, okay, you know what, Ben Stokes is the other player that we can look at. So
Srini, do you really think that Chennai would look at Ben Stokes as a captain for their team?
Well, with the present scenario, until they identify a new one, unless they're going back to Ravindra Jadeja, and if we're looking at MS Dhoni at the sunset of his career,
Exactly.
then probably why not? He's a great option to look at.
Oh, Chennai
Until
got
they
him.
can
Chennai
bring
got
one.
him.
Chennai got him. That's a
Chennai
great
got
buy,
him
I
for
think.
16.25.
And there comes the replacement for Dwayne Bravo.
and Jason Holder goes back to the bench.
Yep. So that's the third biggest buy of the evening, 16.25 if I'm not mistaken, for Ben Stokes. So we have Ben Stokes, Cameron Green, and Sam Curran going for the biggest price.
And Harry Brooks,
price
yes,
tag
13
so far.
crores. 13
crores,
plus
yeah,
crores
not
of Harry Brooks. It's not small.
No,
small
whenever
money.
now whenever you're looking at the prices, anything above 15 is what matters. Like below 15, like keep it out of your list. Okay, so I think they've taken a break for now. So yeah, a pretty interesting run of auction bids, if I could put it that way. Harry Brook, I think Hyderabad is I think Hyderabad has made the intention clear. They either need a batting all-rounder or a full-on batsman. Chennai, well, they're still in that rebuilding phase, so anything goes for them. What will be, okay, we are having the full list here now. So Ben Stokes has gone to Chennai for 16.5, Sam Curran to Punjab for 18.5, Cameron Green to Mumbai for 17.5, Harry Brooks has gone to Hyderabad for 13.25 and Mayank Agrawal has gone in for 8.25 crores. I mean, when you look at this list right now, guys, don't you think that Mayank Agrawal is a steal for 8.25?
Absolutely. Absolutely, because like I mentioned earlier as well, because a lot of the teams are settled at the top. You know, he's an Indian batsman who bats at the top 3. He's 31 years old, and of course, he's a leadership material. So, not many teams in this auction were looking at such a player profile. Attacking batsman, Indian batsman who takes up a confirmed starting spot and obviously a captaincy material. Most of the teams are settled in that particular sense.
Okay.
So Sunrisers Hyderabad had an easy buy. They just entered at 7 CR, picked them up at 8.25 CR. So mega buy. Like I said earlier, this is, I think, sealed that he's probably going to lead Sunrisers unless and until they have some other ideas, which would be, I mean, which would be really staggering for me, to be honest.
Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, as far as the remaining big ticket players are concerned, we have Shakib went unsold. I'm pretty sure somebody is going to pick him up at the end of the day for the base price. Then we have Nicholas Pooran. He's still left. And who else? Otherwise, I think all the big ones are done.
These 5 names were supposed to be the really big ones.
Exactly.
And I think the fireworks, you know, in a way you can say the fireworks are kind of over,
done.
you
Yeah,
know? Yeah,
it's over.
Unless we find some sort of a fight for a wicket keeper, because whenever there's a need. Other than that, I think the big spending is done. So whatever money any franchise is now left with, this is now going to be about smart buys.
Okay.
So I think the big spending buys are more or less settled.
What about Manish Pandey?
I think, you know, he could go for a cheaper price. His base price is, I think, just 1 crore, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
A team like RCB, I don't think RCB will go for him. I think KKR, because they need some sort of batting strength.
Yes.
He's done well in the KKR setup in the
Yes.
past. So Manish Pandey, KKR, probably, you know, going the homecoming.
Look at Sunrisers, for instance. I mean, for the kind of money that they have left, how much? I mean, they still have 21 crores.
Yeah,
something?
they do.
Yeah, they still have the
They
biggest
don't have
purse
a
left.
wicket keeper, do they? They still don't have a. After Nicholas Pooran, they let go.
Yeah,
I
they
don't think they have a wicket keeper.
Okay.
So they might. I mean, you know, you can see either a Litton Das or a Klaasen actually going big. You know, and they have the money too. So
I mean, Sunrisers have let go of so many players. I can't even remember who was the wicket keeper for them last year.
Right. I mean, every time I talk about KKR, I have to keep referring to the list because I just can't remember what are the slots that they are left with in order to fill. Right. I mean, they've not spent a dime yet today.
Talking about wicket keepers, if you look at, you know, the teams, which teams don't have a prime backup or they don't have a settled keeping option. You look at Gujarat Titans, you have Wriddhiman Saha and Matthew Wade, so they're pretty much settled. I mean, unless and until they see that, okay, Matthew Wade doesn't play too many games because they've got Kane Williamson now. Wriddhiman Saha, probably more keeping, less batting for him. Delhi, I think, need a bit of a backup for Rishabh Pant, and because there's been a lot of chatter about workload management.
Okay.
He had a recent back injury as well, so you know, they might just want somebody there to have a backup for him. Sanju Samson obviously keeps and everything. I don't think they need a backup wicket-keeping option. Obviously, Josh Butler is already there, so they won't go for a wicket-keeping option.
Yeah, I think more or less the way I'm looking at it right now, you're looking at Chennai, Kolkata, and RCB. Probably, you know, still have work to do. The others more or less look settled. Mumbai Indians until now probably would have looked a little here or there, but with this buy, Tamarind Green, I think they're looking at such a well-rounded side right now.
Yeah, I mean, and look, last year Mumbai Indians, they didn't really do well, and you know, you would think that, oh, you know, you would go around and change things over, buy some, you know, 2-3 players, get more experience, and because it's a very young side. Yes, you have Rohit Sharma, you have Bumrah, but apart from that, if you look at the lineup, it's a pretty young side. So they haven't done that. They trust what they picked last year, and they've just added to it.
I still feel that Mumbai will try to rebuild their team like what they had done before by bringing in fresh players, unknown players. I mean, whoever had heard of Jasprit Bumrah till he bowled for Mumbai Indians.
Absolutely.
So I think they will build on something like that and set up the team. But you know, I was just going through the roster for Hyderabad, and I still don't think that they have their team finalized yet. They had let go of the highest number of players. They had the biggest kitty. I still don't see how exactly are they going to deal with their opening situation. They have decent bowlers. They have Umran Malik. They have Washington Sundar. But how do you think that their opening lineup, their number 3 batsman, their middle order is going to fare? Because again, if I'm looking at the batsmen, pure batsmen, you have Aiden Markram, you have, I think, Marco Jansen, you have...
Marco Jansen is a
they've just got Harry Brook. They have Mayank Agarwal right now to open.
So Mayank Agarwal and Rahul
Washington
Tripathi.
Sundar is a top order batsman.
Yeah, so Mayank Agarwal and Rahul Tripathi will open, and then you have Harry Brooks at number 3. Then you have Abhishek Sharma, who they've invested in, young talent. Aiden Markram. So that's your how many? 5 batsmen there.
Yeah, Washington.
And then obviously Washington Sundar and Glenn Phillips. Glenn Phillips, we saw he had a tremendous T20 World Cup. So that's what.
And I see them going for another good wicketkeeper batsman right
now. And that's 7. And obviously Abdul Samad, they've given him chances as well. Let's keep him on the bench. So that's 7 players there. Then you have T. Natarajan, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Umran Malik. That's 3. I think they'll go for a spinner now because
exactly
what I am missing here is a really nice spinner there. I mean, we spoke about
and
a
of
couple
course
of
a wicketkeeper like.
And of course, yes, wicketkeeper batsman probably there. So maybe what they need is 3, possibly 4 players who could really come in and stitch their side together, and they could go in. They could go back in for a lot of players who've not been unsold, or they could pick up a lot of, because the big fireworks are over, like we said. So they could pick up really a lot of players on the cheap, or a lot of players for the base price, and even if they don't, they have a lot of money left.
And wait for the young Indian batsmen to come into the list. I mean, because we don't know what they're going to look at. I mean, you have the Sheikh Rasheeds and the Amolpreet Singhs and
we're talking about spinners. You have Adil Rashid, you have Adam Zampa, and you have Murugan Ashwin. Shakib Al Hasan, he went unsold. They could go back and pick him up.
Somebody will pick him up. I think the reason why they let go of Shakib is because Bangladesh won't be available for the entire tour.
Yes, probably. And in the past also, Shakib has gone unsold on 1 or 2 occasions. So not surprised there. Joe Root, again, he went unsold. So not surprised there because 2 CR, his base price.
It's
for that
too
particular
high,
that particular mold, when you have, again, Ajinkya Rahane at 50 lakhs, why would you go for a Joe Root? Because again, he takes up an overseas spot.
See, the way I'm looking at how this is, coming up, it seems that advantage is going to continue to be with Gujarat and LSG when it's all said and done, because both those teams looked settled last year. They continue to look settled this year as well. I mean, okay, some good players have been brought in by their rivals, but none of them seem settled enough to, maybe mount a challenge for the IPL.
I think it's also about, in terms of when the time had come to retain and let go of players, when the transfer window was on. I think the answers were right there. These were such well-settled squads that they did not want to tinker too much. They have built, and Gujarat, of course, will not want to disturb a winning combination.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
It's just a question of minor changes here, there, and where they let Lockie Ferguson go. I am still thinking they have not revealed their cards. They have something kind of in their list of demands, in their wish list. We'll get to know soon what it is. And as far as LSG is concerned, Jason Holder, that's why we saw them going after Ben Stokes the way they did. So I still think that they need to figure that all-rounder slot, and I want to know where they go from here.
If you look at the pacers that they could target, you have somebody like a Taimal Mills, Andrew Ty, Jaydev Unadkat. Again, yes, he's on a bit of a high at the moment.
Yeah.
He's in the past he's fetched a high price in the IPL auctions as well, and he's an Indian buy. He's an Indian buy. You pair him up with Mohammad Shami, and then you have one young fast bowler who can come in as a troika of fast bowlers. So you pick an Indian name and you're sorted for 4 overs there. So Jaydev Unadkat could be a big buy for Gujarat. And if we can also take a look at...
they do lack that top Indian bowler in their lineup. I mean, except for Hardik Pandya, they have nobody else whose name pops up.
And Hardik Pandya might not bowl too often.
Exactly.
He might not bowl too often. He hasn't bowled too much in the IPL in the past. He's bowling now for India, obviously, in the T20 format. But again, it remains to be seen if he wants to bowl in the IPL or not.
Okay. Now, again, if I'm looking at the Lucknow Super Giants roster, they again look fairly settled. They have a good wicketkeeper in De Kock. I think they have probably the best overseas lineup with Marcus Stoinis, De Kock, Kyle Mayers. Mark Wood won't be playing this IPL. I think he has pulled out to keep himself fit for the Ashes. So that's another area that they would look at, somebody who can bowl fast. Do you think that's going to be something that they're going to focus on, Srini?
Well, right now, you're talking about Lucknow Super Giants.
Lucknow Super Giants. Yeah.
Right now, it's obviously a very well-rounded squad. Okay, as I said, not much to tinker, but they've let Jason Holder go. Okay, and I'm sure that they let him go with some sort of a big picture in mind. So I want to now see how they're going to what is their strategy going to be?
Okay.
Unless it is about they obviously they went after Ben Stokes, they couldn't get him. The all-rounder category is done. They don't need a wicket keeper. They have one of the finest in business.
Right.
So I want to know why they're going to use that money, unless they didn't have a plan B, which I don't think so is the case.
This is how the auction dynamics sometimes play out, because they went high for Sam Curran.
Right.
They went hard for Ben Stokes. They ended up getting neither of them, and they've also let go of Jason Holder. So. Sorry to say, but LSG's strategy, and of course the big ticket players, the big ticket all-rounders, they didn't get Cameron Green either. So the big ticket, and Jason Holder's gone to Chennai. So
exactly.
They can't even get him back because he came up earlier, and then they didn't really bid for him. So suddenly their strategy is all over the place, and now they have to bank on another all-rounder who's probably not a big enough name. So again here, and this is the interesting bit for me here, the impact rule. The impact player rule could be of a lot of interest, because they could say, okay, listen, let's invest in a standout batsman or a standout bowler, and we use that player instead of using an all-rounder, and we use that as an impact sub. So that could be the change of thought for somebody like LSG, given how the auction dynamics have played out here.
Okay, now another interesting thing that I've spotted is the way Chennai is building up. Now, they have picked up Holder, they have picked up Ben Stokes, and they have picked up Ajinkya Rahane as well. But they've picked up two foreign players, Srini. So they have practically, I think they've filled their foreign slots, and they have a pretty big roster when it comes to their foreign players. And if you remove, say, the likes of Moeen Ali from the list, who are you going to replace him with? Devon Conway out of the list, who are you going to replace him with? So I think they're going to face that conundrum when the time comes, because they have some really good international players, a long list, but if you are not going to be able to play your player number 5 and player number 6 in the list, how are you going to replace them? Who are you going to replace them with? There is no like Indian replacement for Moeen Ali or for a hard hitter like Devon Conway.
Well, then Edwin, in this, the story is deeper. My whole grouse actually, and because I have such a fascination for what the franchise has done, hugely successful franchise,
absolutely.
A few things come close to what CSK has achieved in this ecosystem. Now, the one thing my mind seems to wonder is, how is it that such a strong Chennai-based franchise has not identified Tamil Nadu cricketers? That is where the answers lie.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Tamil Nadu has a really good domestic T20 league, TNPL.
Exactly.
And surprisingly,
where does Washington Sundar come from?
Exactly.
India Stevens is they
are
the ones who gave birth to the TNPL, really. So it's really surprising that they are not really going.
No, actually, what? I'm not so sure that this might not even something that probably is so conscious. I mean, sometimes in the auction you just go with the flow, what is available. It's not like you are the only one going shopping, right? I mean, there are 9 other franchises looking at their own strategies. So fair enough. Sometimes your plans don't fall in place, like how we saw in the mega auction. Actually, look at the number of players CSK went after and probably couldn't buy.
And also one more thing, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to rectify the imbalance of last year. They had to let go of Shardul Thakur because of purse issues. This year, they're not only replacing Bravo, but they're also replacing Shardul Thakur. So no surprise that they've got 2 all-rounders. And it would also not be a surprising thing that both of them are playing in the same 11.
Agreed. But how do you think they're going to be able to find that balance when it comes to fixing the international player roster?
Which is why Ajinkya Rahane's purchase is an awesome purchase, because what it does is, and I mentioned this earlier as well, immediately, and sorry to say this, it benches Devon Conway.
Yeah, true.
It benches Devon Conway. So you bench Devon Conway, you bring in Ajinkya Rahane. that opens up one slot overseas, and Bravo is no longer there in your playing 11. So that's 2 open playing 11 spots. They've bought 2 all-rounders today who bowl 8 overs and they bat in the middle order, top 5, top 6. And I think that's where they find the balance. You play Moeen Ali, and that still leaves one spot for a fourth international player, somebody like a Mitchell Santner or something. So and in the past, CSK have always sometimes also played with 3 overseas players. So
which is the rising trend. I mean,
which is obviously the rising trend as well. Yes.
But do you think they have enough Indian talent to do that this season? I really don't see that in the roster because, okay, you do have the likes of Ravindra Jadeja, Rituraj Gaikwad, Shivam Dube, who is now obviously going to be the mainstay. And then you also have to fit in one MS Dhoni into the squad. So, again, I don't think they have managed to find the balance even after this. I don't know even after whether at the end of this auction they'll still be able to find that balance.
I'll tell you what, none of this in Chennai Super Kings is a worry to me. They will figure out. They will figure out. Trust me.
They always do.
They will figure out. They always do, as he said, and at some point in time, they will get that combination right. To me, there is only one question when it comes to Chennai Super Kings. When the man goes, what exactly is their plan B? Plan B, plan C, plan D, from B to Z, everything I'd like to know. Because plan A is what has made Chennai Super Kings.
True. I think their plan B is already in motion. They want him to take over that mentor/coach role.
Yes, man on the field, man off the field, world of a difference.
Agreed.
He
But
was on
as
the
far as
field
the
last
fans,
year, and Jadeja couldn't, dip into his experience as captain.
Agreed.
You know,
But
I'm not sorry, I'll continue with it. I'll just wrap this up. The point is, okay, captaincy is a major issue. We saw what happened with, captaincy had to go back to him. There's a lot of sentiment involved and, but the point is his presence on the field. Is that how will you replace it? And in that lies, and CSK, look at the franchise, look at the structure. It has so deep-rootedly revolved around this guy. The love, the passion, the madness that is there for this man is irreplaceable. I don't think,
Which is why I think these 2 buys, Rahane and Ben Stokes, are a bit of interest because Rahane has led in the past as a captain. And I would not say he's from
But
the same...
Rahane has not been a performer, God knows for how many IPLs
Of course. I'm not saying that make him captain. I'm also coming to Ben Stokes because also we have to remember that Ben Stokes is now retired from the ODI format. Why that is crucial is because England don't play a lot of tests in those 3 months, April, May, June. Majorly their test summer begins June onwards, the major part, major chunk of their test. And white ball cricket majorly happens April, May, June. So that frees up Ben Stokes. And you never know, he's suffered a lot of injuries. He's coming to his, probably towards the end of his international career. So they could have a chat with Ben Stokes and say, okay, listen, if and when MS Dhoni goes, we are looking for a captain for 3-4 years until you have this guy taking up, and that's Rituraj Gaikwad, and I'm pretty sure they are looking at him as a future captain.
I agree completely with what Chetan says that at some point in time, Rituraj Gaikwad is seen as a future captain, and that I think CSK has identified. It's just that they don't want to rush into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll have to obviously kind of wait and see how things go. But as of now, their worry is the interim.
Right.
Because as I said, the man, like he goes and there's a gaping hole out there. How do you feel that?
True, absolutely. Okay, so now when we're talking about captaincy and replacing the old with new, the next team that comes to my mind is the other most successful team in the IPL, that is Mumbai Indians.
Yes.
Well, again, Rohit Sharma, we know for a fact that he's in his last legs. Even if he retires, maybe he would end up playing at best another season of IPL. I don't think he will go beyond that. What do you think their strategy is going to be? I felt they made a mistake by letting Hardik Pandya go.
Yes, that was a mistake. But again, when it comes to retention and staying,
Srini does not agree at all.
He
does not agree at all.
Yeah. It's not always the players, the franchisee's decision. It's also sometimes the player's decision. So I think Hardik Pandya's decision was vital in him going to Gujarat Titans. He was looking for that broader role. Again, I also don't agree. This is like Rohit Sharma is going to retire anytime soon. I think even if he says goodbye to international cricket,
I'm not listening to this.
I think he's going to play IPL for quite a bit. And if you talk about who the future captain, there could be, I think Ishan Kishan.
Ishan Kishan, really?
Definitely. Why not?
Okay. Srini, you had issues with what Chetan was saying?
Well, okay. First thing first. No, not issues. I mean, his thing is spot on. Point is Hardik Pandya going away. Okay. Nobody's mistake here. The mistake is, let me quickly wrap this up. The mistake is nobody's but the way people are designing the concept of mega auctions in IPL. You have a team. Where did Hardik Pandya come from? Obviously, the talent scout of Mumbai Indians went and figured that boy in Baroda, you know, kind of a budding young fellow who had potential. They brought him up, you know, kind of put him in the mix of things, and they worked on that product, and you know, it took time for them to accomplish a finished product, right? And suddenly, BCCI comes, says, okay, it doesn't matter what you've done over the last 6 years, because we are adding 2 new teams, so now dismantle everything that you have done. Okay?
And you can only retain 4
And
players.
we will only give you the option of retaining 3 Indians and 1 foreigner, or 2 Indians and 2 foreigners, and that's at best what we can do. Now, we don't care what you have done. See, this is, again, there is a larger context here, which I'll come to later. But the point I'm trying to make here is that a franchise which has worked on creating its own ecosystem suddenly has to let go of a player. And who would they have let go? Kieron Pollard, no chance. They wanted to keep him another year. Surya Kumar Yadav, now we can see why they kept him back. Rohit Sharma is their captain, man who has won them 5 titles. There is, and then just with
Mumbai's
there's no
MS
argument,
Dhoni.
right? So where was the spot? I mean, obviously, you know, had the mega auction happened this year, probably Kieron Pollard would have not been the guy. See, they couldn't have retained 4 Indians. The rule said that it could have been 3 Indians and 1 foreigner, or 2 Indians. So they went for the best option that was available. Chetan?
And again, yes, I agree. And also, even if they wanted to retain him, you look at the valuation as well. You know, there's the valuation aspect of it as well. When you retain a player, you pay 16 crores, then 12 crores, 8 crores, or something like that. If you pick,
I think Litton Das was up before this, and he has gone unsold. Again, it must be the availability issue. Because Sri Lanka and Bangladesh are going to be the 2 teams which are going to have their own games during that time. So it's very much understandable. Nicholas Pooran is up, and it seems Chennai and Rajasthan are bidding for him. He has already shot up to 2.8. His base price was anyways at 2 crores. So yeah, as Srini had predicted, the war for wicket keepers has begun.
And while this is going on, I'll just finish what I was saying. It's also the valuation war. If you're paying 16 to Rohit and 12 to Bumrah, you can't go below 10 to Hardik Pandya, because there's a valuation game there. Why would he accept 8 crores or something to play for Mumbai Indians when he's getting 16 at Gujarat Titans? So this, like Srini said, very much this was designed against those existing teams, and that is why, let me just say, the concept of auction in IPL, I think it's starting to get very, very dated. It's starting to get very, very dated. We're coming quickly to a point where it has to be replaced by the draft system and not the auction. And you can't tear up teams again and again and again, because you're building an association with your fan base as well. So I think in the next, maybe within 3 to 5 years, we could see the end of the auction concept in the IPL?
Yes, I've been saying that auction is already past the sell-by date. And I've been saying this for a long time, that for right now, you know, why did you need auctions? You needed auctions to bring in sort of an equilibrium in place, right? There had to be equal contest between all 8 franchises, originally the 8 franchises. You didn't want overspending happening anywhere, right? So that is why a salary cap was kept, and the players were put in brackets and said, this is the kind of money that you can go. All right. Now, after 15 years of IPL, franchises are earning money from the ecosystem. They're earning good money from the ecosystem, right? So today they have the infrastructure and the space available to build their own teams. I'm saying start from scratch, identify a player at 14, 15, 16, 17 years of age, and then work on that product to kind of, you know, enable at some point and have a junior ecosystem in place. Look at what the EPL has done in England.
I was going to come to that.
Exactly. And there is no rocket science here. I think that is precisely why I'm saying the auction is past the sell-by date. It's great drama on the day when it happens.
Absolutely.
You know, it's great TRP. But then overall, there's no big picture to look at.
Do you think that for a EPL type of model to come into the into the IPL, do you think that you need more teams? I mean, if you're already at 10.
You mean the transfers?
No, the total, not just transfers. Like, even if you want to add more players, buy more players, do you think that just like what the EPL has, you need, like, you know, about 15 or maybe 16 teams to be there for something like that to start working? Is that what the IPL is working towards?
No, I mean, see, I don't think there is a plan in place. You asked me, is that something the IPL is working towards? Right now, I don't see IPL working towards anything.
No, but also I don't think that transfers could really work because again, what's the point of transfers? Because when you talk about EPL teams, transfers happen within the team, they change the
I
big
have
players.
something to add here.
Yeah.
The transfer window, when you look at the transfer window, see the transfer window has to be made into a commercial exercise.
Right.
You know, people have to look at that window every year annually in terms of trade, where it is not just, okay, I need this, I need that, you are letting go of this, okay, whatever, like 1 or 2 players. It has to be there has to be a business sense to it.
Yeah.
It has to make news for the money that exchanges hands. Yeah,
Okay, while we have been talking about that, Nicholas Pooran has it 9 crores. So now,
Which
and this was,
actually-
I think, Delhi. No, okay, now Delhi has gone for 9.25.
And LSG have
And
come
LSG.
in. Yes, LSG have come in. So again, I'm just trying to make sense of what's happening here. We have DC and LSG. Before that, we had Rajasthan Royals before LSG entered. So Rajasthan Royals were looking for that impact batsman. They already have 2 wicket keepers, Sanju Samson and Josh Butler. So they don't need Nicholas Pooran to keep wickets.
Yeah.
But they missed out on Harry Brook, so they were trying to go for an alternative, an attacking middle order batsman. But they are out now.
I
DC,
think Delhi is now getting very desperate. I think
Yes.
they want that wicketkeeper batsman.
as
in there.
obviously a backup to Rishabh Pant and also a middle order batsman who could make an impact because they have
Just
lost
like
out on
what
the
Marcus
all-rounder.
Stoinis used to do.
So now these two teams are looking at Nicholas Pooran as an impact player because they've missed out on the big hitting all-rounders.
Nicholas Pooran, I think, is about to hit 13 crores, guys.
Well,
Sorry, 12.5
I
now.
somehow think that Delhi is your Delhi. I just get this feeling. I'm obviously not part of the whole setup. I just get the feeling that Delhi is confused right now. I don't know whether
There are as many zeros in there as he scores in one season.
well, for the kind of money that they have, how much? 19 and a half crores is what they have.
Is it 13 crores?
And this has already reached
So
13
he's
crore.
about- I think, okay, he has equaled Harry Brooks.
Yes, yes.
So the top 5 sellers as of now are all foreign players, all in like high double digits. 14 crores. Wow, look at that.
And these are the teams that are left with the purse because they missed out on those mega all-rounders. And this is where you bring in Nicholas Pooran, he comes into the lineup and you can use another batsman as an impact player. This is the impact player strategy playing out here. These two teams missed out on Sam Curran, they missed out on Ben Stokes,
But the stats
they
you
missed
just
out on
pointed
Cameron Green.
The stats that you just pointed to, I mean, you were being colloquial, but the stats that you pointed to about Nicholas Pooran not being consistent,
Yes.
then where does the impact value come in?
No, he could not. I'm not saying. I mean, yes, anybody can score zeros. I mean, that's a run of bad form. He can also hit big sixes, man. So,
Right.
he can make that impact. He's that sort of a batsman, but not necessarily he will be used as the impact player.
Okay.
They could use an alternate player, put him in the playing
Okay,
11.
so Delhi is out of the bidding now. It's with LSG at 16 crores.
Oh my God, that's crazy money
massive.
for Nicholas
That's,
Pooran.
yeah.
That's crazy
That's
money.
too much for Nicholas
Okay,
Pooran.
this is not making any sense to me.
Yeah.
And why is LSG
And they've
here?
got him at 16. Oh my God.
Why is LSG here? Because
16 crores.
Because
He's
they
been
missed
sold.
out.
He's
They
been
had
sold
money to
LSG.
spend. It's like
Yeah.
I went to the market. What I wanted to buy that was sold out, so I had
but
money
how
to
is
spend and I
Pooran
bought
even
something
the
else.
answer? How is, with all due respect? I mean,
He's
where
the
is-
answer in a way where he gets into the playing 11, Srini. He gets into the playing 11 after 12 overs. They replace him with an impact player. That's
Okay.
how he gets into the playing 11.
All right, for this
Wow.
price, Chetan?
The price is crazy, but this is the strategy. This is the impact player strategy playing out here.
Well, if you're talking about an impact player, the question that it gives you to have 2 players around me, you're saying that you're blocking like whatever this money is.
So
you're
you play
blocking the
Nicholas
kind of
Pooran,
money.
he
Yeah.
gets out for
Oh,
a duck
Klaasen
and
is
you
here.
replace him out, he gets out for a duck and you replace him after 12 overs with an impact player.
It'll take me some time to digest
Exactly,
that.
But
I
it's
guess.
not worth 16 crores.
Yeah,
It's
16
definitely
crore,
not worth 16
no way.
crores.
But yeah, Klaasen is a class buy, can be a class
And
buy.
this is a wicketkeeper,
Yes.
reliable wicketkeeper
Yes,
option.
that's
and I think
something I
that's-
want to say.
yeah.
But this guy should get good money. This guy
And DC have got him.
Yes.
DC have got him
him.
for just
I
1.2.
really, I mean, that-
1.2 crores. That's a steal.
This doesn't make
Seriously?
sense. Oh my
That's
God.
an absolute steal.
16 crores for.
Wait,
Hold on,
hold on.
Sunrisers
There's some
Hyderabad.
drama happening there. I think
Yeah.
Hyderabad put
Yeah.
their hand up. Okay, they're back.
It's
you
still
go.
going on. It's
They're
still
back,
going
they're
on.
back.
Yeah.
No, because this makes sense for Hyderabad. They don't have a proper wicket keeper.
And they have overseas slots to fill as
Exactly.
well. They have 2 more overseas slots to fill.
And by the way, they did not go after Nicholas Pooran.
No, because so many ducks. Why will as many zeros in that 16 crore as he scored for Sunrisers Hyderabad?
Oh man.
All right.
This
okay.
is
Now this is a bidding war. Now this is a bidding
going to be a
war.
proper
Okay.
bidding war.
Now-
Okay.
now
Yeah,
it
yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense.
Klaasen is already. Klaasen is so worth it.
Delhi is
So
not
worth
going to
it.
put their baton down.
And you know, with Klaasen, you do not want Klaasen to be a substitute. You want him to be your main guy.
True.
Give him a run of matches. Give him 14 matches and he will give you a fantastic season. If you're giving him 3 matches, then benching him, then 3 matches, that's not how
But
you
if
build
he
a
goes
momentum.
to Delhi, that's exactly what's going to happen. I mean, where else will Delhi play Rishabh
That's why,
Pant?
he'll go to Sunrisers Hyderabad. Let's. I mean, come on. They restarted the bidding, and they
Yeah.
want a wicket-keeper batsman of his
Okay,
caliber.
there's-
And remember, when Sunrisers Hyderabad gets into the bidding after 5 crores, you mean they
Yeah.
mean
Yes,
business.
absolutely.
And who are they replacing? They're replacing Nicholas Pooran,
Nicholas Pooran.
who went for 16 crores. So yes, maybe he won't go for 16 crores, but you get the idea that they will not back out of this. It will be Delhi Capitals who will have to back
No,
out.
Delhi is out. Delhi is out at
Delhi's out.
5.25.
5.25.
So this is with.
Come on.
Wow, that's a terrific buy. I mean, the way the auction has gone so far, I would say Klaasen going to Hyderabad for
Is a terrific buy,
5.25.
yeah.
That's a steal.
That's a steal.
Yeah, 5.25.
Gone.
He's gone.
Yes. Still doesn't make sense compared to 16
Absolutely,
crores, but yeah.
I mean, we
still
just
better
saw
than
the bidding
1.2.
before this. I mean, okay, Srini, they keep talking about something called the auction dynamics. Chetan was mentioning it earlier. Can you please explain this? I mean, Nicholas Pooran going for the amount that he went at, and then you have Heinrich Klaasen, somebody who is much more proven than him, going for not even 1/3 that rate.
Is there a dustbin here? You know, because sometimes it's best to keep logic there before you walk in, right? I mean,
Look, yeah, go ahead. Please go
that
ahead.
doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't make any
I
sense
mean,
to
this
me.
is all
Why would
about
you bid
numbers.
See,
Okay,
16 crore.
Kusal Mendes has gone unsold again. Sri Lankan player not going to be there throughout the season. Understandable.
Look, when we're talking about
Is Phil Salt going to come next?
Tom Banton.
He's in this list.
Tom Banton.
This is Tom Banton, but Phil Salt is very much in this
Yeah.
list.
okay, you know, we were talking about. Can I say something?
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that? You see, the auction dynamics. Again, this is the classic example. They went for again Sam Curran. They wanted him. Cameron Green. They wanted him. Ben Stokes. They wanted him. But there are 10 other teams. Sorry, 8 other teams. You know, those I'm talking about those 2 teams who took the bidding as high as 16 crores. They didn't get them. They didn't get. I mean, look at LSG. They let go of Holder. They could not get any of those all-rounders. So they need somebody to fill that void.
True.
And again, this is the perfect example of auction dynamics. And suddenly, it's not just LSG who's desperate. It's another team who's also desperate because they also did not get any of those all-rounders. So 2 desperate teams going for the same player who's probably not worth that value. I mean, no disrespect to Nicholas Pooran, but come on, so many zeros. But again, 16 crores. That's just, and I'm not even sure if he fits into the first
Okay, I'm
11.
guessing Delhi is going to enter this bidding very soon. It's Phil Salt,
Phil Salt.
of England.
Okay, now here's a guy I would love to see what's in store.
I think since he's going to be, he's sold to Delhi. Don't tell me. Yeah, sold
Yeah,
to Delhi
wow,
for just
2
2
crores.
crores.
That's a great
That's
buy.
a
Wow.
steal. That's a terrific.
That's a great buy.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, that's a
I
terrific
think-
buy.
Okay, that's a great
I
buy.
mean, I don't know much about Phil Salt, but is he a outfield player?
No, this is the,
Or
this is a
is he- no,
wicket-keeper
no,
bat.
yeah,
This
yeah,
is a
but,
wicket-keeper
no,
bat.
but can he
Wicket-keeper
double
batsman.
can he
Yeah.
double in as a outfield player?
Yeah. Phil Salt, he was part of the English setup,
Yeah.
and he was part of the World Cup. He's graduated through those the 100 basically.
Right.
Again, an attacking batsman, considered to be of high pedigree. But you have to consider how many teams are actually looking for a wicket-keeping batsman. You know, who
Correct me if I'm wrong. He is a top order batsman, right?
yes, top 4, top 5. Again,
Yeah.
this depends really.
And we have more than a few teams who are actually looking for batsmen.
No, I mean, he's a wicket-keeping batsman. His primary job, obviously, is a wicket-keeping batsman. I mean, we have to start thinking in terms of, you know, right now, teams are trying to fill up their squads. That's where Phil Salt comes in.
Okay.
So, how many teams are actually going for him? So, Delhi going for him makes sense because
They need a backup, yeah.
They need a backup for Rishabh Pant, and they also sometimes, if you don't, you know, Mitchell Marsh doesn't play, or Shimron Hetmeyer is at Rajasthan.
No, he's not there.
Yeah, I mean,
you have
he's at
Rodman
Rajasthan.
Powell.
Rodman Powell, he doesn't fire, so you need an alternate. So Rishabh Pant is keeping, Salt can come in and he can, you know, score.
Okay,
so,
makes sense.
But you need a backup, and you need to extend your batting strength.
Chris Jordan
The bowlers
is up.
have arrived.
Yeah, the bowlers have come now. Yeah. Now we'll have a quick auction, I think. Yeah.
No. He has a base price of 2 crores and it's Chris Jordan. And there are more than a few teams. I was just looking at this. So
I think they're showing Gujarat Titans all the time because
Now it's time for bowlers.
I think they have already gone for him. Unsold? Don't tell me.
Chris Jordan unsold? No. It's still
No,
going on.
unsold, yeah.
Oh.
Chris Jordan has, wow.
Wow, that's
okay.
Yeah, that's surprising.
Actually, he had a very poor season with Punjab Kings last year.
Yeah, but one
yeah, but
season
still,
really
he
doesn't
is
tell you much.
one
And,
among the better
yes,
T20
and
bowlers.
also, even in
This
international
will be
cricket.
another interesting purchase.
Now remember, the players are going to come in
Just
the
about-
order of preference. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
just about Jordan. He's had a high, over the last couple of years, his economy rate has gone higher.
Okay.
It's nearing around 9-ish now.
All right.
So even with the T20 World Cup, although he's still effective picking up wickets at the death, his economy rate is actually climbing up. So that could be a factor. They could come back for him. You never know.
So I think Mumbai and Chennai are going in for Reece Topley right now. He's at 90 lakhs.
Yeah.
And I think Chennai is going to bid a little,
And
be a
Chennai
little
need-
stronger in their bid for him.
And Chennai need fast bowlers.
Yeah, Chennai need fast bowlers.
Chennai need
And-
fast
and
bowlers.
But here again,
Mumbai
you know-
will be happy to have one.
Here again,
Mumbai,
this is where
yeah.
I'm
Mumbai-
still
Mumbai,
confused
yeah,
about.
Mumbai.
Here again, this is where I'm confused with Chennai's strategy of having so many foreign
But they
players.
still need money.
No, they
How much
use-
money does Mumbai have?
Mumbai, hold
Mumbai
on.
has around three.
They still need money to pick up a good spinner. There, they've stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't tell me RCB
I
have
think
entered?
RCB has entered the fray.
Okay, so you asked about Chennai, using these. So you look at how they use Josh Hazelwood because they need to replace Josh Hazelwood. They used him sparingly. They didn't use him in every match.
True.
So when playing in Chennai, you don't need those, overseas pacers.
Sold for 1.9 to RCB. It seems.
RCB,
That's a great buy.
goodbye.
That's a terrific buy.
Yeah. And that's Mike Hessen's signature all over it. Mike Hessen, he's worked out. He needs this player. He needs to bolster their bowling attack. Jaydev Unatkat. I think
This is going to
Gujarat
be
Titans could be in for it. I'll be
You know,
surprised. if they don't.
I really can't help but remember the 2018 auction. How much did he sell for? How many
12,
crores? Yeah, 12, I
12
think.
or
12
something.
crores.
12 or
I'll
something.
just Google that in right now. But yeah, he did go for a pretty high price.
Yeah.
And
Which
this
was
time his
ridiculous.
base price is at
Ridiculous,
50
yeah.
lakhs, which is quite surprising. You could have easily.
6 crores.
Easily.
Let's see, he's back in the test squad. Stars are up. You never know.
Stars are up. Exactly. Stars are. And even when he went for 12 CR, even at that point,
Yes.
he had been
Yes.
selected or he had won something like that. So stars were up at that time as well. So again,
I remember the first time. Oh,
50 lakhs.
50. Are
And-
you serious?
And LSG have got him.
Okay.
And
let's-
GT didn't go for him.
Come on. This does
Gujarat
not
Titans
make
did
any
not.
sense.
And even Sunrisers, they didn't even.
He sold at that
Yeah,
price?
50 lakhs.
Sold for 50 lakh. Okay.
So is that stars going up or?
Where are the stars?
no, I mean,
I'm
he's-
sorry,
he's
where
going
are
to be
the
on the
stars?
bench. He's going to be on the bench.
How does an Indian
Adam
bowler
Miller.
go
Adam
for
Miller.
a base price of 50 lakhs?
Because they are building a bench now. They're building the bench strength. They're not. He's not for LSG. He's not walking into the first 11. Maybe some matches he'll start. So they're building the bench, rotate players, and also you have to consider that when he was bought for 12 crores.
I'm saying what I'm saying mostly from the point of view that he's an Indian player.
Yes, but what sort of performance has he given in the last few years in the IPL? That's also something that needs to be
I
considered.
mean, he's not been terrible when he was playing for
So-
Rajasthan.
Yeah, but when they bought him for 12 CR, they released him the next year. And they bought him back for what, 3 or 3?
Yeah, much cheaper
Which
rate, yeah.
reflected his value. And it's been 3 years since then. And yeah, I mean, the wickets haven't really come through. Yes, he's been doing well in the domestic circuit. But in the IPL, the performances haven't really shown through reflecting that sort of value.
Jai Richardson is up, and I think
Yeah.
Mumbai has bid for him.
Did Adam Milner go unsold?
I think he has gone unsold. I'll just
Okay.
check on that, but I think, yeah,
That was-
he did go unsold.
That was surprising.
Jai Richardson at 1.5 with, that's it. So
Yeah.
Mumbai, I think, is building up its reserves.
That's all.
No,
All right.
so Mumbai have this formula of 3 pacers. So you have Jofra Archer, Jasprit Bumrah and Jai Richardson. There you have your 3 pacers back. And
Yeah.
now they will concentrate on getting that spinner really.
I think yes.
Adam
I think
Zampa.
a good spinner.
Adam Zampa.
Yeah, a
Adam
good
Zampa.
spinner. And Mumbai Indians is right now more or less a sorted franchise.
Yeah.
Ishant Sharma, I think he will go unsold like what
Okay,
happened earlier.
you know what?
And
This is probably
Unsold. I would say he will go
yeah,
unsold.
yeah.
Yes,
You're
probably
also
unsold.
probably looking at the sunset of a good India career.
True.
Maybe Delhi Capitals buy him for
Yeah, Delhi
for
boy
emotional
probably they do,
reasons.
but you know what?
yeah,
yeah,
at base
like-
price. But I doubt because now also it's also
I
about
think
bloating.
it is
I think
with
he's going
Delhi.
unsold.
I think the bid is with Delhi. I think it's, yeah, sold to Delhi for 50.
Yeah, so emotional
Not
purchase.
Good,
Emotional
good,
purchase.
good.
No,
I mean,
I think
you
he's
know,
a great replacement
good.
bowler.
Yeah,
if
I mean,
Delhi
a great
finds
guy,
him
yeah,
short of
he
a
does
bowler,
obviously.
he's
Loads
a
of
terrific
experience.
replacement bowler.
You know, the wonderful thing, I like the fact that Ishant Sharma continues to stay is because, let's go back to 2011 here, where he was just trying to make a comeback into the Indian team. It is IPL and, you know, the tutelage of Zahir Khan, spending time in IPL with Zahir, that it allowed him to make a career comeback.
Not just that, Srini. If you remember when Delhi rebranded themselves as the Capitals, Ishant Sharma was in that squad and he did pretty well in that IPL season.
Yes, but now he's in the fag end of his career.
Yeah, agreed. So this is somebody. This is not somebody who doesn't know IPL and who can't like.
Bench bowler, maybe, but most importantly, the experience.
True.
The experience counts. I mean, 100 odd test matches for India. He's been a fantastic bowler. He knows the Delhi conditions well, obviously.
Absolutely.
Fantastic buy at 50 lakhs and could get into that role.
This will be interesting. Adil Rashid is
So
up.
here we are in the spinners. Yeah?
2
And-
crores.
All right, here is what I want to see.
I think
Nobody
has
Sunrisers maybe, and
nobody has raised a baton for him yet. Oh no, yeah, Sunrisers has. I think.
Sunrisers have.
Wait,
Sunrisers
hold
have.
on.
Sunrisers have base price.
Nobody, I think.
No, Sunrisers. Base
Sunrisers.
price.
That's a good buy.
You know what? Sometimes I think that base prices the players set for themselves.
Too high.
Yeah, I mean, you're guaranteed. You see, even if you're picked it, I think, this all happens because I think players are in touch with franchisees. Franchisees tell players, listen, you come to the auction, make sure you're there, we will look at you.
Yeah.
And I think there is a mutual understanding in terms of, where I can set my base price at.
Yes.
And,
I mean,
there
you
are
always have
times-
player agents who send out feelers and try. I
Yeah,
mean, it's not
so
players
there are
themselves, but
times
player
when
agents.
a
definitely.
franchise probably tries to convey that, listen, if not anything, we'll pick you up at base price. So
True,
keep your base price there.
But somebody like a Joe Root, I mean, that's a surprising base price at 2 CR. I mean, he probably, if he was at 50L, not 50L, because that's too low a price.
If he was at
At
about
1
one,
CR,
I think, yeah.
1 CR probably would have gotten some takers at that price, but 2 CR for that profile of a batsman, when teams are not looking at that profile of a batsman, maybe 2 teams were looking at. Ajinkya Rahane got picked up, Kane Williamson. Both of them better in what they offer than Joe Root at that
Okay,
price.
Adam Zampa is finally up. 1.5
this is the
CR
mega
is the
spinner.
base price.
This is the mega spinner. I think this...
I
And
think-
RCB are really happy to get him back, or they would be.
But would RCB invest?
They have Hasranga.
No, they have Hasranga, but would they actually invest in somebody like Adam Zampa, especially given the
Zampa
kind of...
was with RCB and
Was,
they let him
yeah.
go, yes. And Hasranga obviously not available for the entire season this year. So Adam Zampa is a good replacement. And Chennai would be interested. Mumbai should be interested here. Srini, with the spinner, Adam Zampa, the quality that he brings.
MI,
The only-
obviously, MI
The problem
would-
with the problem with MI would be too many overseas players to balance it out. That would be the problem.
Okay, what happened there?
Unsold?
Did he go unsold? Hold on, let me just check on that.
Okay, they're like checking on something.
Tabriz Shamsi is up.
1 CR.
Yeah, I think he has gone unsold,
Which is surprising.
which is quite surprising given the kind of form that he is in.
Really surprising.
No, because you were saying that Hyderabad would like to have him, but Hyderabad
No,
again
they've
they
got
have a
Rashid.
pretty good solid.
No, but they've got Rashid. So they are both of them are wrist spinners. So they would want both Adil Rashid and Zampa. They just got Adil Rashid.
And Adil Rashid quite a good buy at that
Yeah,
price. The price
and
that they got.
obviously at base price, yes. But I'm Mujib Rahman. The problem with MI going for a spinner at this point is the overseas thing, because they've just got Cameron Green.
Yeah.
They have 2 of the young overseas batsmen there, and
True.
then obviously you have Jofra Archer coming back. You've got Jai Richardson. So an overseas spinner probably doesn't make sense from a Mumbai Indians point of view, because they need
No,
that
but what
spin
about
mainstay.
the other teams that are there? I somehow feel that Delhi maybe could have done with a spinner. I mean, they have Kuldeep Yadav.
I was surprised Chennai didn't go for Zampa.
Yeah,
Because
again,
they used to have Imran Tahir.
but I think
he did
I
quite
think
well. They
that's-
have Mitchell Santner,
Exactly, I think that's the reason why Chennai didn't go. But Delhi could have maybe gone for him.
Mayank Markande. He's up now. Delhi maybe, but again, it's a problem of how many overseas spots you have. They already have Mitch Marsh, Robman Powell, They bought Phil Salt, and I'm sure they have Heinrich Nokia, who's definitely going to play.
Looking, yeah, and they also have Lungi Ngidi, who has made it to the squad.
So
but I'm looking at purely from the point of view of having a spinner in the squad. They have Kuldeep Yadav, and besides that, I don't see any other.
But Kuldeep Yadav is going to play 14 games for you.
Agreed. But
Unless
then
he's
who is
injured.
your? Okay, Mayank Markandeya has been sold. I think he has gone to
50 lakhs. For
Sunrisers.
50 lakhs.
Okay.
Okay, so you can see Sunrisers are slowly building a fairly decent squad there. They have got another batsman. So this is going to be in their favour. But again, coming back to the question of Delhi not having a second decent spinner, isn't that going to bite them? Especially towards the middle and the end of the season when you know you need those slow spinners.
Well, look, I think let's be honest here. If you're looking at a second spinner, somebody like who's a backup to Kuldeep, who's going to play 14 matches unless he's injured, you would not want to spend money on an overseas pick, or even an overseas pick, but not at 2 CR.
Okay.
Okay, so because that's a little higher price, they could come back and go for him, but maybe they are saving money to get an Indian pick or somebody who's at a lower base price than 2 CR. So that's the auction dynamics that we keep referring to. So. But again, the baseline here is you're looking at a wrist spinner.
Just look at that card.
Yes.
I don't think there's been an auction, forget about small or big, which has had 5 players with the lowest price among the top 5 being at 13.25, the highest at a record-breaking 18.5 crores. And all of them are overseas players.
Yeah. Again,
All
this
of
is
them.
such a turnaround from the very previous auction that we saw.
Exactly.
Where the whole highlight was domestic cricketers.
Domestic cricketers, you had KL Rahul, you had Manish Pandey, if I'm not mistaken, being sold for double figures.
Another important thing, what I like the fact is that most of these players were coming from England and Australia, which means right now there is a far bigger clarity of thought in terms of, look at Ben Stokes. There's an Ashes coming. You are still kind of investing that kind of money. Obviously, there is a great amount of clarity in what Ben Stokes himself wants to do. He relieved himself of all other white ball cricket. Right. And I think there's a lot more clarity of thought in terms of where they are placing IPL in their scheme of things. They are now beginning to make time out for IPL. I think they're beginning to understand now that, listen, my partial commitment to IPL is not going to work anymore.
Right.
So if I really expect top dollar from this enterprise, then I really need to give the time and energy.
I think it's got a lot to do with how cricketers are now valuing their skills. I mean, when Ben Stokes had his bout of depression and he stepped out of the game for a while, in his interviews, he was constantly mentioning about the fact that, it's not worth it, it's not worth it, it's not worth it. You keep playing so many games, it's not amounting to what they actually want to enjoy. And now when you attach a price tag to it, something this high, I think this kind of matches what they want from their skills, what they want to earn from their trade.
And also the fact that Ben Stokes is probably on the wrong side of 30 now, and he is looking at the end of his career. He's carrying injuries. I mean, I was watching him in the nets in Australia. He's wearing a strap on his knee all the time.
Okay.
And he has to play with that strap because he's had knee injuries in the past. So he's already retired from one white ball format, probably could retire from the other as well by next year and only continue to play Test cricket as the captain, English captain. But right now, for him to enter, because it's surprising, you're retiring from white ball cricket for England, but you're coming back and playing IPL, which shows that in this part of your career, where you're probably stepping towards the retirement age, you want to squeeze out whatever amount you can get. And at this stage, if he would have entered the IPL again 2 years down the line, he would not get this value.
Absolutely not.
He gets this top dollar value today because he's still the player that he was when he stepped away a couple of years back, or when he got injured, when he got 14 CR. He's come back and he's got 16 now. So he's getting top value today. 2 years down the line, he will not get that value. So squeeze out the money while you still can, and then walk away. And then, of course, there's a broadcasting career waiting him, I suppose.
And, exactly. And then the clarity of thought helps so much.
Yes.
When you you make time out, it's I think franchises are willing to invest when they see commitment out there.
And clarity of thought is a phrase that we can use not just for cricketers, but also for the associations and the councils and everything. Because now, if you look at the FTP, 23 to 27, which has come out for the next 5 years, there is a white space in that FTP in April and May, which shows that the IPL will be absolutely on track.
Which is what the BCCI actually did. So, this story needs to be told that when in 2008 the IPL as a property was conceived,
Right.
the BCCI very consciously stayed away from asking for a separate window for the IPL because what their worry was at that point in time was that if they ask for a separate window for IPL, probably other boards that plan their own domestic fixtures may start doing the same, and that is why the annual calendar from an FTP standpoint, from a may get divided, may get slotted. So to avoid that, what BCCI very cleverly did was they stayed away from asking for an official slot. Yet they knew that the popularity of IPL and the kind of money that was
they
at
can
play
throw
would
in.
attract the best of the talent
Absolutely,
here in India. What has happened after 15 years is that now the property that is standing there is so big that it is already the elephant in the room. So
Absolutely.
what BCCI has again done
yeah.
is that they've just underlined, let's have no confusion and make it easy for the players and not make them,
And the
not
problem,
make it any difficult.
it's given rise to a new problem now, because seeing the popularity and the money spinner that the IPL is, now we have a franchisee league in every country. In every country. And now the problem is, apart from the Indian players, all these players, okay, Ben Stokes is not playing, Ben Stokes is not playing in the BBL, but the other English players are. Harry Brooks will play, or Phil Salt will play. So it's starting to become a congestion problem for the players. And I think maybe not in the next 5 years, or maybe not in the next 10 years, maybe 8 to 10 years time, we might start to see the international schedule starting to condense, where from January to May, you have all your T20
leagues. If you are giving an 8 to 9 year timeline duration, I feel like just like what we are seeing in Europe,
Yeah,
we are going to see these leagues.
Absolutely. So
leagues take the cake.
prominence.
There's one more thing here. The couple of more important things here is, number one, is the survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
Over a period of time, as these leagues sprout, you have to be really good enough, sustainable enough, paying those kind of salaries, attracting that kind of talent, catering to that kind of a prime time requirement in order to sustain and survive. The more, let's look at
But
Emirates Cricket League vis-a-vis the South Africa Cricket League, right? The basic difference I find, both the leagues are doing wonderfully well in terms of marketing it and getting the best of the talent that's
comparing
available.
the South African League too?
South Africa compared to the Emirates T20 League, right?
Because they're happening at the
look
same
at that.
time.
Yeah, South Africa has such a great domestic talent at its disposal that it can become a feeder line to the league that they are planning.
Right.
Whereas in Emirates League, local talent is absolutely zero. So whatever they are dependent on in terms of a team building exercise, it's in terms of what they manage to procure. Now these are two separate battles altogether, but telling us some sort of a common story here, where in the longer run, the one league that has a feeder line obviously is going to survive and sustain for a longer time.
I would rather look at it, from the point of view of how the broadcasting rights have changed.
On that, Edwin, I'll tell you one more thing. Right now, people in the industry, if you talk to the industry is also rather alternately speaking right now, if it is very healthy to look at cricket and the current market purely from an ad-driven perspective. Of course, we can do another show or another day on this, but the future, is it with technology coming in, with people having far less patience in terms of what they want to see, everything being at their disposal, the OTT platform setting in, is an ad-driven market the future, right? Because why are you asking this question? Because today, the very central basis on which your league is running is the money that's coming from the broadcaster, right?
Exactly.
So, in the future, will the broadcaster continue to pay money from an ad-driven model?
No, not just that. Not just that. Like even that model of what is the broadcaster has changed. You now have Facebook, you have Amazon all coming in. They don't have satellite setups. They are all following their platforms in order to push the content, push the cricketing content. And once that has changed, then it becomes easier for those smaller leagues in any country to come up, and they know that they're going to get this value there. Especially when they have those followers set on those platforms, it gets easier for them to, like what you said, the ad-driven model, it gets easier for them to tap into it.
So what we will also see in the next, not even 5 years, probably the next 12 to 24 months is a war that is going to play out in terms of content, cricket-driven content and OTT, because I don't know if I can take the name of the Dream OTT. Can I take names here?
I mean,
Yeah, you can.
So somebody like a fan code, they have
Exactly.
acquired a lot of sporting properties, but now suddenly when you have a host of other OTT platforms coming up, they realize that, okay, you know what, we can also get, so they've gotten those sports properties at a lower price or lower than regular market price or what we see now with the IPL or other properties. But suddenly everybody wants those sports driven content properties. That will lead to a bidding war for those properties and jack up those prices. So OTT obviously is already king and it's going to
Chetan,
drive the price of the content.
I'm not even going to brand them as sporting platforms. I would rather just say cricket.
Yeah.
I mean, you're already seeing this in England. Like there are matches featuring teams like Arsenal and Tottenham that don't come on Sky Sports, that don't come on TV.
But they
It doesn't
come on
the
multiple.
tube.
But they come on multiple platforms.
Exactly.
Because those platforms are actually buying,
So that's what I'm
non-exclusive
saying. See,
content.
Again,
non-exclusive content.
Another key difference here is, listen, you're talking about a very new and a very young product here. When you're looking at IPL, because you're talking cricket and IPL is sort of, the trendsetter, right? I mean, whenever you're looking at any global model that is coming up, whether it works or whether it doesn't, eventually the trend setter, the benchmark is IPL, right?
Right.
So if you start applying filters, then let's say the very first filter is the fact that it's a very young league with just a 15-year-old window to look back at, and it's an evolving model. Again, as I said, it is based on an advertiser-driven model. Why was I saying it? Because compare it with EPL, which is 30 plus now, right? I'm not even heading to America. I'm not even heading to NBA, which is 75 years old. I'm not talking, people like to talk about NFL and all. NFL is 105 years old.
Exactly.
It is the granddaddy of leagues, right? So look at the way it has evolved over a period of time. What I'm saying is the IPL today is just a 15-year-old league with a one single-minded driven concept that ad is driving it, right? Now we are beginning to see a digital onslaught.
Exactly.
Technology is seeping in. We saw what happened at the broadcast when the broadcast rights went on
auction,
sale. For the first time ever, digital surpassed traditional television linear broadcast, right? The change is, before we could even imagine, the change is already there in our living rooms. I'm saying with tech, the way tech is driving this, I don't know what is in store 5 years later. 5 years later, and by the way, you look at because technology is now driving this, because digital is now the driving force and not linear television, which has become a secondary player in this whole exercise, the primary thing I'm already going to notice is a drop in prices, because data content is going to get cheaper. The value that you as a customer you're paying to buy and procure content is going to get cheaper. And digital is going to drive this forward big time.
I don't think IPL, and while I agree that we'll see technology seeping in the way cricket is consumed in the OTT business, I don't think IPL is going to drive that, because the valuation is very high.
Exactly.
What will happen is all these OTT platforms or whoever is innovating tech the way cricket is consumed, they will go after the lower leagues, and because the pricing is a much lower, a much lower price point, and experiment there. What works there, of course, it works for the content market here as well.
But then where are the best minds working?
No, the best minds are working here, but they are also acquiring those same properties for the Indian market. Those same properties are available in the Indian market.
Yes.
And you innovate there, experiment there, and then you bring that to the table 5 years
In fact,
hence.
another model that can also be looked at is, maybe you now start selling IPL in batches, like maybe for the first 10 matches, you have this broadcaster.
We
Next
had we had a component in this.
There was a package.
There was a package.
No, but therein again, whoever was the digital broadcaster, there is a TV broadcaster.
There was a package where
there's a parallel TV broadcaster to it as well, right?
There was a non-exclusive set of rights that could have been bought. Okay, that has gone by. What
exactly. The point that I was making was related to the exclusivity of the broadcaster.
Yes. You're right. The point that you're making is actually right. And you know what? Let me take this a step further. Probably 5 years, 8 years down the line, Mumbai Indians could have their own channel.
Absolutely.
And they might bid for all their Mumbai Indians matches. Chennai Super Kings can have their own channel.
Their YouTube channel is called MITV.
Exactly, it's MITV.
Yeah,
and
MITV,
tomorrow,
and they have an
what
application.
stops Mumbai Indians from having their own channel and actually, bidding for a certain set of matches?
Yeah. And that is where this is headed, because you have the Arsenal TV, Manchester United TV, Barcelona
and by the
TV,
way,
Real Madrid TV.
the rights, I'm telling you, today is being sold for 5 years. What I can tell you now that, BCCI seriously contemplated if 5 years was too long to block the this thing, and should they sell it only for 3 years?
Next time.
Then they realized that India as a market and as an ecosystem is still evolving from a tech side, right? So today, if I'm going to sell only for 3 years, it's going to take me some time, take my broadcaster some time to settle down.
Okay.
So first year to settle down, second year to understand. By the time your right cycle is already over. That's why for now they decided to stick to 5 years. Don't be surprised in 27 onwards they actually go to a 3-year model. The future could be actually not just cricket rights anywhere around the world sold on an annual basis. Because the pace at which technology is going forward.
That would probably not work, but 3 years is the optimal cycle. If you look at all the football or the NFL and everything, it's or for example Formula 1, the rights are
but
huge.
like what Srini was
That's
saying.
a 3-year cycle. That's
Agreed. Yeah,
No,
but
I'm
like what Srini was
saying I sell production. Look, broadcast I can sell for as long as I want. Production is the key here from a technology-driven standpoint, right? How am I producing the sport, right? And from that perspective, I don't think the way things are moving in some years from now, probably a couple of years, and you already moved past what you have actually invested in.
No, absolutely. So like what's happening right now, you are saying that there are these 5-year periods which will be cut down to 3. Eventually, 15 years.
Exactly, you never
later,
know.
It'll be cut down to 2, maybe even 1, like
and
Chetan was mentioning.
We spoke about buckets. We spoke about, how these rights can actually be sold in various buckets. Every little component eventually will be sold separately. Your Saturday game and your Sunday game is going to be sold separately.
Exactly.
Your Monday game is
Forget
going
about
to be
that.
actually a struggle.
The marquee games.
So today,
Mumbai versus Chennai will have a separate broadcast altogether.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And today, for example, a broadcaster any which ways is struggling trying to see how best can he market a 4 o'clock game?
Exactly.
Because he's just not ready to get able to get the numbers, right? So when those kind of issues become bigger and top dollar comes into play, you're right. I mean, I'll be looking. I don't mind paying. So today, if I'm paying in X sum per match in IPL, I'm paying the same thing for a 4 o'clock game. I'm paying the same thing for a 7:30 game, right? So tomorrow there could be a price correction. Well, let's say if you sell those separately, probably yes, the price could get lesser for a 4 o'clock game. But who knows, the 7:30 marquee game will just skyrocket, right?
Exactly.
I mean, so somewhere there is going to be a balance in that.
No, that is definitely going to happen. So I think they're yet to begin the next phase. And as far as the overall setup is concerned, I think they've got all the big names out of the way. Now it's all about how you're going to finesse and put in the right add-ons. Srini, do you think that this war right now is going to be limited just to wicket keepers? Because spin is also a factor that needs to be taken into consideration.
Big time. Big time. And I would really like to see what some of the franchises actually, kind of managed to do here. Like Mumbai Indians, we just mentioned, they still don't have a spinner, or do they?
No, they don't have. I think they have Rahul Chahar with them, if I'm not mistaken.
All right.
But yeah, they don't have a big ticket spinner.
No, so they've not bought anyone today, right?
No, nothing.
Okay,
nothing. Mumbai's biggest purchase so far has been Cameron Green, and I think they had another fast bowler added to the mix.
I think the canvas is very clear then. Mumbai Indians need to go in for a good spinner, and I think that is what is going to help them round this up completely.
Okay, Srini, I'm sorry I have to block you out here. So we have got 2 reactions coming in on the auction. This is Suresh Raina and Anil Kumble, if I'm not mistaken, giving their take on what has happened at the IPL auction so far.
Stokes has gone to CSK, and with that, has MS Dhoni chosen his successor?
बिल्कुल, और अच्छा लगा जिस तरह से गए, और अजिंक्य रहाणे, वैंस स्टोक्स, धोनी भाई ऑलरेडी खेल चुके हैं पुणे के लिए, तो कुछ नया नहीं होगा क्योंकि ऑलरेडी वो ड्रेसिंग रूम शेयर कर चुके हैं. तो इट्स अ वेरी वेरी गुड पिक, एंड अलोंग साइड विद सैम करन, एंड जो एमआई ने पिक किया है कैमरन ग्रीन, आई थिंक पोलार्ड को अगर कोई रिप्लेस कर सकते थे तो मुझे लगता है वो कैमरन ग्रीन ही है. तो एमआई की टीम बड़ी स्ट्रांग लग रही है, और जब बॉम्बे में खेलेंगे वो लोग अपने होम ग्राउंड में, तो बड़ी आतिशबाजी होने वाली है.
एमएस क्या ग्रूम करेंगे अब स्टोक्स को एज अ कैप्टन?
नहीं, बिल्कुल ग्रूम करेंगे, और अजिंक्य रहाणे भी आए. आप देखेंगे जिस तरह से सैम करन के लिए वो काफी गए थे. वो बैन स्टोक इज अ वर्ल्ड चैंपियन, एंड ही हैज डन रियली वेल. वर्ल्ड कप में उन्होंने बहुत अच्छा किया टीम के लिए. अभी टेस्ट बॉल कैप्टन इंग्लैंड के, और काफी पाकिस्तान में भी टेस्ट सीरीज भी जीते हैं, तो एक अच्छे फ्रेम ऑफ माइंड में, प्लस आई थिंक जो उनका क्रिकेटिंग ब्रेन है, that will be very very useful for all the youngsters in Chennai. और चेन्नई का crowd, they all will love him because he has done really really well in India, and I hope he'll just enjoy and do the whistle and do a lot of whistle polo for CSK.
And do you think Ajinkya Rahane will get a place in the 11 in the final,
Yeah,
in the
बिल्कुल
starting?
Ajinkya Rahane has a lot of experience. He played, I think, more than 170 matches, and he scored heavily in domestic cricket season. And he just want to play for India again. I think love his passion, love his attitude. Very very disciplined cricketer, and bring a lot of experience on the table. And in wicket like Chennai, I think he is a Mumbai Cup batsman. He knows how to play a lot of good sweep. और जब थोड़ा बॉल टर्न होगा, स्पिनर होंगे, तो आई थिंक ही विल बी वेरी वेरी यूजफुल, हैविंग राइडू, एमएस एंड कौन में ऋतुराज. अब कोई किसी को इंजरी भी होगा तो अजिंक्य रहाणे हैज दैट एबिलिटी टू विन मैचेस फ्रॉम एनी सिचुएशन.
First things first, the all-rounders have taken away quite a lot of money. So this concept of impact player, has not been considered by the teams.
I think. See, it's an option since it has not been used by the team. So probably, it's something that you want to start with the best lineup, playing the starting 11. So that's one of the reasons why the all-rounders have gone for a lot of money. It was expected. But I'm sure as the rule and the strategy evolves around the impact player, probably we'll see a different auction next time around in terms of how people look at the impact player and all-rounders themselves.
And Mumbai Indians have picked up Cameron Green, a perfect replacement for Kieron Pollard. So what's your take on that?
No, I think it suits the sort of decision making that Akash explained around going for a young player. They showed that even in the last auction with Devil Bravis coming through and Tilak Verma. Some of the young players have come through really well, not just in the last couple of years, but over the years for Mumbai Indians. We have seen the Pandya brothers really grow, and Jasprit Bumrah. So it's nice to sort of have that foundation and go back to a Cameron Green. And I think his bowling type and his batting will suit the Wankhede Stadium because it's a true wicket. The bounce is good. It's very similar to possibly what Cameron Green is used to playing in Australia in terms of the bounce and pace. So I'm really happy for Cameron Green, and Mumbai Indians I thought was a good pick.
And Ben Stokes is back with MS Dhoni. Ben Stokes is back with MS Dhoni. What do you make of this team? MS with such a experience and a successful captain. And
I
Stokes
think Ben. Yeah, I mean, we know the quality of Ben Stokes, not just as a player but as a leader, and how he has sort of performed under pressure, and that's what you would probably want from a Ben Stokes. And I think it's something that was really well chosen again by CSK because something like that for the future, he could potentially be a leader going forward whenever MSD sort of says, okay, I'm done with IPL. So that's an option for CSK. But having said that, like I mentioned, Ben Stokes not just brings his bowling, batting, and fielding to the game, but outside of that, I think it'll be a great value for all the young players to sort of look up to someone like Ben Stokes.
So those were the hot takes by India legend Anil Kumble and Suresh Raina giving their verdict on where Ben Stokes stands as far as being a Chennai player is concerned. And of course, the other big buy of the day, Cameron Green. We are now joined on the studio by Jamie Alter, cricket expert and analyst. Jamie, Srini and I, we have dried our throats talking about the kind of ridiculous amount of money that has been thrown in. This is probably the first time that we have an auction where we have had 5 players, top 5 players, the lowest among them being sold for 13.25 crores, none of them Indians. We've seen Nicholas Pooran enter that list and being sold for 16 crores, while we have somebody like Heinrich Klaasen being sold for just 5 crores and Ishant Sharma being picked up for 50 lakhs, Jaydev Unadkat going for just 50 lakhs. I want to pick your brains on this logic that is going on, because Srini has made it very clear. He has thrown his logic into the dustbin. He doesn't want to look at what the numbers are saying about the players. What is your take on this?
Well, Nicholas Pooran, 16 crore. I understand.
So, okay, let's just because Ashwini just mentioned Nicholas Pooran, I used to joke for the longest time, and I'm going to use the Hindi word here. Okay, Nicholas Pooran is the actual Deshbhakt. He only scores runs when he plays for West Indies. But over the last 6 months, even that logic has gone out the window.
Exactly.
So when it comes to IPL, I mean, I was just on the phone. I was speaking with a friend and a former colleague who was very frequent in this office years ago. He said, yeah, 8 crores I can understand maybe, but 16 crores for, and I was driving, I'm like, hang on, you're talking about Pooran. So I found out that he went for 16 crores on the way here. It's just ridiculous. Regarding the top 3, I think the top 3 on everyone's list here would have been Stokes, Curran, and Cameron Green. So I'm not surprised that they went for that big bucks. But again, I mean, Ben Stokes, he's basically only a test player now. He's a test captain. Is it recency bias, or the franchises getting caught up with the whole baseball thing? Because he's quit one days. He hardly plays T20s. He came back after what, Srini? I think 15 months. He came back into England's T20 setup for the World Cup. So of the 3 formats, he's probably the least, regular in this one. Is he going to captain? I don't think so. Is he going to bowl? I'm not so sure. So Ben Stokes going for that big bucks, that for me was the biggest surprise. And of course, Nicholas Pooran, like Srini said.
Okay, so now Srini has this whole take about how Ben Stokes could lead Chennai Super Kings till they find their next big guy.
See, I'm of this view that he's still, 31, 32 right now, right? So he's still got a good 4 years of very good cricket left in him. Does he have leadership qualities? Of course he does. I mean, we've seen what he's accomplished. Now, I'm looking at it from a CSK interim standpoint, right? Where if this is probably the sunset year for MSD, then they obviously are in the process of still identifying who their next captain is. Earlier in the show, I said that probably the one person I think CSK have identified, want to groom him from the futuristic perspective is Ruturaj Gaikwad, right?
Absolutely.
So, but probably they still want to give him time. And until that, probably for 2 years, you want somebody to step in. I think Ben Stokes is a great guy.
Okay, just a quick update, guys. So the uncapped players were going up right now, and one Vivrant Sharma from who plays for Jammu has been sold for 2.6 crores. And I have no idea about who this guy is. I'm just looking at his stats right now, and he comes off as a all-rounder, because he has got a decent number of runs under his belt, and he has a knack for taking wickets in List A and in the T20 that he has played, and he has gone to Hyderabad.
Lovely.
Now,
21 players from Jammu and Kashmir.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And
the story has just begun.
So do you think that now the teams are that this is the phase where teams are now going to invest heavily as far as the younger players are concerned, the uncapped players are concerned? Because that has been the highlight of IPL, like getting uncapped players and unearthing their real talent.
In essence, that is what the IPL should be about, right? The Indian in the IPL. Now,
Right.
it's been there, but I think Srini will also agree, we've not seen too many franchises invest that much in that many numbers. There have been a few. I mean, the name of Pawan Negi comes to mind, but again, unfortunate that his final price was that high, because he was never going to live up to that kind of a price tag. Now, in regards to Hyderabad, who did they retain? They retained 3 players. One is, of course, Kane Williamson, and the second was Umran Malik, and I'm forgetting the other guy's name now. Abdul Samad, right?
Yeah.
They're players from the same catchment area as this player you just mentioned. Now, you think of that. So there's also that they want to make people familiar with the players that they're playing with. So it's good that Hyderabad has invested in another up-and-coming JK player. I'm kind of surprised that none of the JK fast bowlers have gone, because they're the ones sort of making more of a buzz. Of course, there's Umran Malik, but there's a couple other younger ones who in the recent last 6 months have done something. But if someone like him, what's his base price? Must be 25 lakhs?
20.
20, and he's gone for 2.5, you said?
2.6,
That's
yeah.
big for him. That's big for J&K cricket. That's also big for the youngsters. Like, a player should be aspiring to get that kind of money. He's a virtual unknown. I don't know anything about him, but the fact that he's gone for 2.5 crores says that Hyderabad is clearly onto something. What we saw Umran Malik do in the last season, broke into the Indian team, maybe this guy gets in somewhere not too far down the line.
Okay.
And I'm also seeing a kind of a connect building between J&K and Hyderabad,
Boy.
Yeah. That's
Any reason you think there is
well,
something?
what happens is you get a good talent from one region coming in, and then he talks about what is happening in this region. The franchise begins to take interest there, probably sends a talent scouting team, identifies that, okay, like this there are more, and this is the kind of culture that probably might help us, and probably the word of mouth actually leads.
Shouldn't that become the model for other teams as well? To,
Absolutely.
Like, not just look at the catchment area. Like, where is Hyderabad? Where is Jammu? And Hyderabad has actually bothered to send a scout there. They got Umran Malik. Now they're getting the Vivrant Sharma into the mix as well.
Exactly, just to build on what Srini is saying, right? You have an Abdul Samad, then you have an Umran Malik. Of course, Umran Malik's trajectory has gone somewhere else post one fantastic IPL season, but they're playing together, right? So youngsters will be like, "Acha, wahan pe Abdul bhai hai, wahan pe Umran bhai hai." You're trying to build that, that familiarity, which is like certain franchises put 3-4 South Africans, certain put 3-4 West Indies. It's the same logic, but let's look at the Indian in the IPL, and I hope, like you said, this does become a model for future franchises.
Another youngster, Nishant Sindhu, is going up. So far, he has hit the 60 lakh mark, and it looks like he is again somebody who can be chalked up as an all-rounder because they're putting up his stats. He had, I think, about 500 odd runs, and just 18 years old.
Something interesting comes to mind right now when I'm looking at these. So many of these names that most will find a tough time identifying. Right now, it is telling us what kind of homework that the franchises are putting in place. Right. This is not the first time. We've seen it in the past also, where a Mumbai Indian scouting talent, team has gone, identified a cricketer, and so this is such a story for Indian selectors, the BCCI and the Indian selectors right now. Your own ecosystem is going and finding the talent for you. You don't have to do anything. You really don't have to go and scout for talent. All you need to do is sit down and see what your franchisees are doing and start from there, and you're halfway into the journey.
John Wright, Jasprit Bumrah, Mumbai Indians, right? Same thing. Bumrah had been around. He played I think a year and a half, 2 years of age group cricket, but it took a John Wright, a New Zealander, scouting for Mumbai Indians to pick up Jasprit Bumrah, and boom, 5 years later, he's the best bowler we have. So Srini's got a very good point there.
Wow, I mean... Yeah, I hope somebody is listening to Srini and what Jamie are talking about as far as building the scouting model for Indian players are concerned. So I think this part of the auction, I think they are focusing mostly on uncapped players, and obviously they are not going to be sold for eye-watering prices. But again, I would like to pick your brains on this one, Jamie. So we are seeing a lot many aging captains. We have Dhoni, we know for sure he is moving out. Rohit Sharma is the other one. Two big franchises, two big names as far as IPL, as far as Indian cricket is concerned. How do you think that these franchises are going to deal with their replacement? Because, okay, you have Ben Stokes right now, but again, as what you just said in the beginning, he is also, entering the late 30s. So not late 30s, sorry, early 30s. And he is also not going to be able to play 14 games in Indian conditions, especially in that time frame that India wants him to play in. The franchise wants him to play in. So how do you think this is going to work out for Chennai, then later for Mumbai?
It's an interesting question, and I get when Srini says that, with Dhoni, probably this could be his last year. I mean, people will be very, very sad to hear that. But he's got a point. CSK have to find the next leader. I'm just not so convinced that that person is Ben Stokes, because he's never been seen as a T20 captain. He's had the job primarily in the test format, and even then he said that after Joe Root was stepped aside, he said, I never really wanted it, and even if I did, I never spoke it. But a month after Basball started to work wonders, he's saying, no, I did want it. So I'm just not sure he's a natural fit. There's Ben Stokes, the all-rounder. I mean, Headingley, whatever it is, he's done a lot. Even this T20 World Cup finally, he had some luck. But at the end of the day, the biggest player in that team was the one standing not out on 51 or 52. So I just hope the CSK doesn't get caught up in the aura of Ben Stokes. He's not done enough in his career to show that he's actual captaincy material. Basball is hardly 7-8 months old. I get where Srini is coming from. They do need to find someone, but I hope that they go for someone like Ruturaj Gaikwad much sooner, and they don't spend too much time on Ben Stokes.
Okay, I think the part 2 for the wicketkeeper war has started. So we have N. Jagdishan, who is right now at 80 lakhs. It's a bidding war between Chennai and Kolkata.
It's so heartening to see Chennai bidding for a Tamil Nadu player.
Wasn't he with Chennai in the last season?
Him.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's very interesting to see how they are going about with their... I think they are looking to get him at a much cheaper rate, given the fact that he's an uncapped player, and I think Chennai has pulled out. So the bid is very much with Kolkata, and Kolkata really need to get in these players so that they can build their squad.
With the kind of budget that they have, their bidding war will start now.
Exactly. I mean, not exactly a war,
actually,
so as to say,
but... I'll quickly finish that point. You were talking about replacement, right? See, there can't be replacement for, there can be replacement for categories.
Yeah.
There can't be replacement for individuals.
Okay, no. Okay, let me rephrase what I said then. I was talking more about this from a leadership point of view.
I'm just like, the thought came to mind. Of course, the point I was trying to make is, look at Mumbai Indians. They've spent that kind of money to get a Cameron Green on board. An all-rounder going out, an all-rounder stepping in. But then who can find a replacement for Karen Pollard and what he has managed to accomplish in IPL, right? So across, I think that stands true for Suresh Raina and what he actually accomplished with Chennai Super Kings. So CSK can get a guy who can fill in the middle order slot for them and do a great job over the next 5-7 years, whatever. But finding a replacement for what Raina managed to achieve for them, I think is So, well, it's a category that drives the story forward.
Okay, again, like I want to reiterate, I was looking at the leadership question here. Mumbai, how do you think they're going to deal with it? Srini was very clear about the fact that Rohit Sharma in time will be replaced by Ishan Kishan because they would want a young guy to come in and lead the squad for a much longer period of time.
No. I didn't say the captaincy bid for Ishan. No. I didn't say the captaincy bid.
Okay, so who do you think? Okay, fine. Who are you going to pick for Mumbai's captaincy post?
I'll
the
tell
Rohit
you
Sharma
after 3
era?
months.
After 3 months, okay. Jamie?
When is the IPL starting? Oh, sorry, when is it getting over? May.
May, I think, yeah.
So let's say if it's getting over on May 25th, I'll tell you on May 26th who's the new captain.
Jamie, would you like to get into that?
I mean, look, I think Mumbai Indians have been guilty of, we all saw this last year, the way that their season panned out. They let go of some very, very key players.
Yep.
I think while we can all blame them for that, they would be the first to acknowledge. And then going for Archer and all these guys who they know wouldn't play. It's a long-term 3-year plan. They have not been able to groom the next leader. Just like the Indian team struggled to groom that next leader when Shastri and Kohli were doing so well, 5 years in a row, top test team. Who was the next leader? I think Rohit was just, and I'm sure Srini would also back me on this. You look around the moment that Virat stepped aside, who's the next senior player who's got the most stature? It's Rohit Sharma. Unfortunately, he was never going to be more than a stopgap captain when it comes to Indian cricket. He's 35, he's injury prone, he's the most important player across 3 formats. Unfortunate. And I think that the last 9 months or 10 months of what Rohit Sharma has learned while captaining India, Srini, is that captaining Mumbai Indians in the IPL is a different kettle of fish. So Rohit Sharma now will be like, yaar, main kitna kar paunga, right? So, but they have to find someone. Is it Ishan Kishan? I don't think so. I look at that lineup, I just don't see anyone capable of leading that team because it is, after all, the most important team in the league. Rohit did a very, very fine job for all these years. He had a great bunch of players, but down that 15, 16 guys, I can't see one leader in that Mumbai Indian squad. Srini? He's not going to say until May 24th?
May 26th.
26th.
I'll wait for the day after the final.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
all right.
I'll wait for the day.
He has a
after
good
the
idea.
final.
I know Srini. He's got a good idea.
Okay, so as far as the uncapped players are concerned, we just saw KS Bharat, who was earlier, I think, with Delhi Capitals, being sold off to Gujarat for 1.2 crores. So this was a wicketkeeper. So Delhi did have a wicketkeeper who they let go of, and they have picked up Salt instead of him. But KS Bharat now going in. I think this period is proving to be really good for the uncapped players.
Yeah.
With just a base price of 20 lakhs, they are seeing themselves being sold out for 1.2, 2.6, even 90 lakhs. Players, again, like what both of you have said, not heard of. But again, what this brings to my attention is, is this going to be enough? Because again, IPL is not exactly a place where you would look to develop players. You are trying to unearth talent. What about when it comes to the question of development? Do you think that IPL needs to do a little more on that front, or whatever they're doing is good enough?
Little more is, a lot more. Okay. Let's start with this. Look at the divide between right now. I won't take names, but look at the divide between what some of the top franchises are doing and some of the other franchises are doing. Okay, the work that is being put in at the back end, right? That's one way of looking at it. Two. First 10 years of IPL, it was still trying to be a sustainable model. Franchises were trying to break even for the investments that they made. Kolkata Knight Riders, by the way, was the first franchise to break even, right? And everybody else eventually followed suit. Then the media rights got sold for another 5 years. More money came in. When more money came in, obviously, revenue systems became better. Now, what have some of the franchises done with that kind of a revenue coming in? And okay, tomorrow we might see some of them going and investing in women's cricket. That's going to be a great exercise, to pool that money to, channel it further. But until now, I should have already seen somebody here working on some kind of a grassroots development program in place, right? I'm still not able to identify what kind of proper ground level work that has been done, barring a couple of franchisees who have obviously kind of, and they've been so successful because they have managed to time and again look at some kind of a big picture, right? So, there are franchisees which, I know there's a franchise that probably has everything in place from an out of the field perspective is concerned, but their cricket has not clicked. I know a franchise where neither cricket has clicked nor anything else has clicked, right? So, everybody is lacking some place or the other. So, yes, cricket has to be the priority. Your cricket has to click first. Once it starts clicking, that is why I said do away with the auction. Today, the auction is great drama. It is allowing us to sit here, the broadcaster gets great TRP, amazing numbers. From a long-term perspective, not the right thing to do. Allow these franchisees to identify cricketers when they are 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, make them into homegrown talents, homegrown stars. That is got to be the future of IPL, like any league in this world. And, I think...
okay, I know what I'm going to say might sound a little controversial, but the two of you are purists, so I'm going to put this to you. IPL, yes, it was founded after, the debacle that Indian cricket was going through and all that. It has been set up. Entertainment was the biggest factor. You had cheerleaders and you had all your timeouts. You still have them. Yes, you ended up getting some good players in the mix. They've now started to become the core of the Indian team. But don't you think that even now, entertainment is the bigger factor when it comes to IPL?
I'll just finish it in one line. IPL is 70% entertainment, 30% cricket.
Okay.
You want to watch cricket? Go watch good test cricket.
But then doesn't that defeat the purpose? I mean, all this conversation that we're having about developing players, finding players from catchment areas which are not exactly near your region, how does this work out then?
Yeah, see, I mean, okay, look at it. I don't know how to give you a specific answer here. The first point that you made is, I don't know, catchment areas was separate. I think the first thing you made is, like you said, how does it make sense, you said, right?
Yeah, how does it make sense to look at IPL as that source to get the best players for your team, for the Indian team? I mean, earlier that was not the case.
Wait a minute, right? I mean, I'll divide this into three separate points.
All right.
Number one, the product itself, okay? The question that you, me, anybody, it doesn't matter whether you're a purist or looking at it from a modern day perspective, is the product being consumed? The product is being consumed. The numbers are telling you a story. Now, when that product is being consumed, try and identify why it is being consumed rather
but you
than
already answered that
your
question.
word and your narrative out there.
But you already answered that question by saying that IPL is 70% entertainment. So it is being...
No, so that's why I'm building this up, right? The number one thing that you need to understand is it is being consumed, right? Now, in what way it is being consumed is something that needs to be identified. Now, once you, why I say 70% entertainment is because you're not just identifying the IPL for the cricket that you're watching. You are identifying with a lot more elements that go with it. We are as much charmed by, a Virat Kohli knock in Bangalore as much as we are charmed by, the presence of an actor in the stand.
In the stand, exactly.
Or, this IPL auction drama that goes on, right? So, it's a complete package. And, cricket business. Now, I have often said this and I'll repeat this today, like, today when we talk about the business of IPL, we talk about, every time we like to compare, okay, whatever has happened in IPL, oh look, we are now per match value is above EPL. That's such a silly argument that per match value is above EPL. It's not the right barometer. EPL conducts 380 matches a season. They've been a 30-plus-year-old league, and somebody actually made that mistake of actually mentioning NFL, and I ran away from the room. It's a 105-year-old granddaddy league. Don't go there. Don't go there. See where you stand. Actually, so again, I'm digressing. The point I'm trying to make here is that it's all a bit of experiment. You're still not looking at a finished product. You are looking at a product that is evolving. this will keep evolving. It will still take time. The IPL, as you know it, as you see it, is in the stage, and you know, it's in the product. Today, if you ask me what is IPL, tell me what is it different, how is it any different from what Lalit Modi put in place and went away?
Absolutely nothing. I mean,
Exactly. So you're still looking at. I want to see the next 5 years, 10 years. There needs to be a lot of innovation to be done there, and time is going to help us decide where this product eventually lands. So it's too early to judge the product.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now, let us understand: are the basics in place? Are the basics in place?
But won't you agree with me when I say that IPL is being looked upon as the standard when it comes to certain certain
because there
players?
is no other product to compare it with. Simple. Can you compare it to any of the leagues in the West? No, you can't. It's one thing to say that your per match
No,
value
sorry.
is
Okay,
gone
let
up.
me rephrase. I'm looking at it purely from a player point of view. Like if I'm going to select players for India's T20 World Cup, and you have the IPL running. So I'm going to look at the IPL and say, okay, this player, that player, this player, that player, and okay, these are going to be my playing 11 or the 17-man squad that I'm going to take. So that has already been established.
So it's a tricky one because you can say that the Syed Mushtaq Ali is India's premier T20 tournament, but we all know the selection largely happens from IPL success, right? We've seen one good season by a certain player knock off someone who'd been groomed for that role for the better part of 12 months. I'm not taking names here. But at the same time, after every IPL season gets done, look at the next Indian series. A lot of the 11 are still picked on legacy. Right, certain people, again, not taking names, they've been picked on the fact that they may have had an abysmal IPL season, right? So it's the classic Indian cricket situation. Okay, let's just pick guys based on reputation. But now the IPL is 15 years old. You have to put in some success stories. But are there enough success stories being rewarded? I don't think so.
Okay.
But just to add on what Srini was saying, it's only been 14 years. And it was in this same office, I remember this was 2010. We're like, let's see where this thing gets to in 10 years. I think we have to wait another 15 years to sort of see that. I don't know whether we'll go down the grassroots model that Srini was talking about, but it's only 14 years. And when you consider then in many ways, India sort of went from the 19th century into the 21st century as a nation. The IPL is just an offshoot of that. Things happen so fast, right? It has the money. But let's wait another 10, 12 years before we actually pass judgment on the IPL.
Okay, so Shivam Mavi, who was I think let go by Kolkata, has reached 3.2 crores in a bidding war now between Gujarat and Rajasthan. Earlier, Kolkata was also involved in it, but I think they pulled out. Obviously, they have a much lower purse. But Shivam Mavi, somebody who has played over 32 matches, over 32 matches in the IPL already, is now caught in a bidding war between Gujarat Titans and Rajasthan Royals. I think Rajasthan needed this. They needed a fast bowler, an Indian fast bowler to replace Jaydev Unadkat, given the fact that he is not there anymore.
Yeah, I think when it comes to Shivam Mavi, we know that he and Kamlesh Nagarkoti came out of that same under-19 batch. Unfortunately, Nagarkoti has not been able to rise the way that Shivam Mavi has. The thing about Shivam Mavi is, despite his setbacks, and he's had a couple injury setbacks, he still bowls quick. You watch him playing for UP, the guy can still clock those good speeds. And nothing tips selection more than doing well in the domestic tournaments that you have. And Shivam Mavi, whenever you pick up his name, you can just go like this and put a finger on Smat or on Vijay Hazari. This guy is there taking wickets. So I'm not surprised that he's gone for what he has.
Just to put the name there, Nagarkoti, and my mind, like kind of, the poor guy, like, what a career it could have been in. He's just spent time only in rehabs. Someday I'm going to talk about it, and one of the sad stories.
4 years, Srini, at least?
Yeah. I don't know. What would it take for a guy to actually stand on his feet and start playing a game that he loves? This is really ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But I'll keep that for another day.
So Shivam Mavi right now at 5 crores, that bidding war between Rajasthan and Gujarat, it continues. And it seems that, Rajasthan is still at it, 5.25. I think he's going to become either the highest or the second highest paid Indian cricketer for this particular auction, because besides Mayank Agarwal, I don't think anybody else has managed to clock as much as Shivam Mavi has.
And he's uncapped, so it's a huge deal.
Yeah, it's a huge deal for him, exactly. But see, this is where I am again confused about what exactly the IPL is bringing to the table. Is it right to say that IPL, as far as the players are concerned, it's just the whole price tag that matters at the end of the day? Or for some, like not just the, I'm not talking about the youngsters, I'm talking about the established cricketers. Does IPL like offer something more to them besides the price tag that they command?
I think if you're looking at the top players, I mean, they know that they are what they are not because of IPL success, because of what they've done in an India jersey. Right? Yes, there are names that come through the IPL cycle, some after one season.
I think Shivam Avi has gone to Gujarat, yeah, for 6 crores.
Not bad.
Not a bad.
That's good. And just one more thing on him. I think he's going to be the next classic case of someone who perhaps was not used the best by KKR, but goes to a different franchise and finally has that breakout season.
I think a couple of months we'll get to know about that.
Yep.
So yeah, what you were saying about the players and what they are going to try and pick out from IPL.
I think from what I've seen, and Srini's seen a lot more than I have when it comes to that level, but you know, it's the guys who played for India, they know the importance. You know, I mean, a very famous player had a one good season, and then we all heard what he went and bought and spent, and he was put back on track. It's the younger ones who perhaps are 3-4 years away from India selection, who play one IPL season, maybe even 5 matches. Then how they go back to the domestic teams, respectively, and what they share, I think that's the area perhaps where it's more concerned. You don't want guys saying, "Arey, in one season I got this and I bought this car." That's, again, the IPL gets a lot of flack, which I think is unfair. But the players at the top level, just to get back to your direct question, they know the difference. That yahan se aata hai hamara income, and this is where, you know, we get the pride and the respect. And there's no bigger pride and respect than it comes from playing for your country.
Okay, now you were talking about the fact that IPL has not innovated yet. I would like to go back to the point that I was making earlier, that what if IPL expanded its franchise cap to say about 16, 17, had more of these younger players coming in.
16, 17 teams?
Teams, yeah. And you know, you have more of these younger players coming in and populating their rosters rather than just looking at the top foreign players that are there right now with them.
Okay, right now, purely from a demand versus supply perspective, you don't have enough talent to go beyond 10 teams. That's number one.
Okay.
Number two is, you know, at this current model where you keep 4 overseas players and, you know, if you keep restricted to 4 overseas players. Second, from a pan-India standpoint, the way franchises are located, okay, you can't allow saturation to set in from an economic perspective, right? There is only that much available on the table,
okay,
and it has to be distributed equally, right?
All right.
And you have to allow a property to sustain. You can't just keep adding. That is why the idea of a catchment area could have at one point in time been considered more seriously than it was. I think we have moved beyond the idea of catchment also. At this point, when you have a stable ecosystem, make internal changes. Don't just think about expansion. Right now, the volume that it is playing at, I think it's a perfect volume. Try and see what you can do internally to make it into a far more robust and credible league that can help, as he said, you know, your national interests.
Okay, so right now it's Mukesh Kumar who is under the hammer.
Yeah.
4.6 crores, uncapped player, base price at just 20 lakh rupees. I am still trying to figure out what exactly is his forte here. Because yeah, there's another, wow, it's almost it's at 5 crores.
He is just another example of what I think we've been discussing for the last 6 years. India's pace depth is unmatched, unparalleled, not just in the history of Indian cricket. I mean, I started watching closely in 92, 93, and we saw one fast bowler by the name of Javagal Srinath. We're like, oh, ye kahan se aa gaya? But then that was it for a long time. Mukesh Kumar, just another example of how good India's pace bowling depth is. And I say it also because there's a tinge of cynicism here. We saw someone like a Kuldeep Sen played one match for India a couple of weeks ago, and then apparently he complained of a back pain. I mean, questions have to be asked about the NCA, which I've long had reservations about how accurate that pace is. Shini's reaction just summed it up. But again, it's good because right now the focus, Indian spinners are not making waves. It's India's fast bowlers that are making waves. This guy's not played an IPL match. His success has been from domestic cricket, in particular the Ranji Trophy.
Yeah.
And it's great to see these kind of guys go for this kind of money.
I just had a quick read up about him. He's 29 years old, fast bowler from Bengal. He was called up by Royal Challengers for net practice. Again, an opportunity that he missed because of COVID. And yeah, that's about it. He has played a couple of games for the India A. But yeah,
He's not played an IPL match yet.
he's not played a single IPL match yet. And he is
Again-
right now at 5, and he has been sold to Delhi for 5.5 crore. Wow.
A great story. Actually, see, he moved to, I mean, he obviously cricket took him to Bengal, but he's from Bihar.
Oh, okay.
Right. A story is again a heartland story. And to me, the way it has caught attention is, it's like 2022 IPL, the edition, the number of cricketers from Uttar Pradesh who actually made it. And look at the bowlers, every second bowler, Mohsin Khan, Uttar Pradesh, you know.
Yash Dayal.
So yeah, I mean, you just look at the kind of talent that one region, I won't call it just Uttar Pradesh, but this entire region,
belt,
you know, the heartland, the belt, you know, has thrown up. And it is fascinating. It is fascinating what IPL has done. It has actually taken this story right to the, you know, in India, we like to talk about last mile. It's very fashionable to sit on primetime television and discuss how we are going to take a product last mile and how we are going to connect with grassroots. That's exactly what IPL has done. Tell me another product which is connected with grassroots and exported it to the world like what IPL has done. It has connected the length and breadth of the country, and it's fascinating to see, you know, a guy from, where does T. Natarajan come from? I find it very confusing to pronounce it, where you know the TNPL matches are held. Right, from there to, you know, this boy, this Mukesh Kumar, born from in Gopalganj, Bihar, to
Even the other Mukesh Chaudhary, who made waves last year. The guy's from Bhilwara, Rajasthan, but his father works in Maharashtra. He ends up playing his cricket from Maharashtra. But I go to Bhilwara every year. My in-laws are from there, and you can see the small. Arey, apna ladka is playing in IPL. You know, the guy's not gone back for years, but he's from a town like Bhilwara. You know, so this is a fantastic.
You
story.
don't know, next set of parents watching somewhere, you know, watching this action in some bead in Chhattisgarh, which is like as desperate as it gets, and probably your next boy is coming from there.
Just to add on what Srini talking about, that catchment area, Mohammad Shami, again, Azamgarh, UP, goes all the way to West Bengal, you know, plays for Mohammedan Sporting, I think it was, and makes his name there. Yes, he broke into the Indian team while the IPL was around, but that move there was before the IPL, what it was. So you can even say that, you know, even domestic cricket had that lure.
Yes.
But definitely, like Srini said, our parents and the people in UP, Azamgarh, small towns, you know, who drive tractors saying, Mohammad Shami went, Mukesh Kumar went, Mukesh Chaudhary went, whoever it is. There's a story there.
And by the way, what women's IPL will do is just cross this, like bring this across
Exactly.
genders. You know, it'll do to, in 5 years' time, you know, a girl somewhere in the heart of Odisha or Uttarakhand or wherever, you know, will be probably telling her parents that, listen, this is what I want to do and this is where I want to make my career, and why not?
Okay, let's get a quick idea about what exactly is happening in Kochi. We're being joined by our correspondent Sahil, who is there in Kochi, where the auction is happening right now. He's right outside the venue. Okay, is Sahil connected? I'm not entirely sure, but I think we should be getting him on screen. Yeah, okay, Sahil is connected. Sahil, could you give us an idea about what exactly is the situation there at the venue right now? Like, what are the franchises saying? Any way you are able to pick up something on their strategy going forward?
I think one thing which I would like to say that Akash Ambani was a very happy man after getting Cameron Green. You know, there was a spring in his stride. He was pacing up the room up and down, and he was clearly very pleased because they wanted someone young, someone with the all-round skills to fill in for Kieran Pollard's shoes, and the management and everyone, Akash in particular, I think they were very pleased to get Cameron Green.
What can you tell us about the sense that prevails in the Chennai camp after they got Ben Stokes? I mean, a lot of people are raising too many questions about whether he's going to be there for time enough to maybe even lead Chennai Super Kings post the MS Dhoni era. What exactly has been the mood there in Kochi regarding this?
I think CSK are just doing CSK things. They continue to build that daddy's army and they continue to do the job time and again.
Okay.
And you know, with Ben Stokes, it lends a lot of balance to their middle order. And Kashi Vishwanath, he came for a press conference moment after they got Ben Stokes. He was a very happy man, and they wanted that solidarity in the middle order. And now they also have his bowling skills to deal with.
Okay. What about the other big buys that we have seen? So what really baffled us was LSG going hard for Nicholas Pooran. what was the sense that you got from Kochi about how the other franchisees were looking at a purchase of this magnitude for someone like Nicholas Pooran?
Yeah. Yeah, so we did get a chance to interact with Shashwat Goenka, who's one of the owners of the LSG franchise, and they were specifically looking for a finisher, and for them, Nicholas Pooran, especially with the captaincy skills also under his belt, he kind of fitted the bill well for them, and they didn't really consider the kind of IPL they had the previous time, because he has been doing really well after that disappointing show in the IPL, did well in the T20 leagues around the world, did well for West Indies this year. So I think that's what kind of forced them to go big on Nicholas Pooran, especially after they had to let go of Ben Stokes due to a constrained budget.
Sri, do you want to take a word with Sahil?
I want to know this, that, from the remaining domestic lot that you are looking at, what are the other names that come to your mind that, could actually be the ones to look at?
I think I'm not sure whether Ishan Porel has come for the bid yet. Okay. I definitely think he should be one to watch out for. He was there with Punjab Kings. They released him, was unfit, is back in the mix now. And the trend is such, KKR have been really busy on the table.
Okay, go on.
Players coming into the mix, So Venki Mysore was there. He was there just 15 minutes back outside, and we did tell them that the real auction begins now for you guys, because they don't have the purse which is needed, but they have the the idea behind to get maximum domestic talent.
Right. And by the way, you did some amazing. Sahil. Let's tell the viewers, he writes extensively on the game on cricketnext.com, and the way he tracks domestic cricket is something that I am just fascinated with. And it was a very beautiful list that he had put in place quite some time ago, where the demographics of IPL from a state-wise, this thing. Sahil, do you see any trends there from a democratic, from that state-wise list that you have, any state that you think has really done well this time, or is showing signs of doing well?
Yeah, I think JNK was one in particular which we had tracked extensively. And Vivrant Sharma getting the bid he did, he was always going to be on top of many franchises' radar. Shubham Khajuria, another top order batsman who can hit the ball a long way, should attract some bids too. I was surprised that Majtaba Yusuf didn't find a buyer. His name continues to pop up on the auction screens, but the buyers kind of don't show the interest in him yet. But he is definitely one player who we should keep an eye on for the future.
Okay, Sahil, I think we'll connect with you again as and when the auction progresses further, because there's still a lot left to be done here as far as this auction is concerned. And I think we have a word coming in from one Robin Uthappa, who is going to give his take on what exactly has happened so far in this auction.
What do you make of Ben Stokes' auction? The amount he has taken. He's going to CSK. Obviously, MS would be looking for his successor. What do you make of it?
Well, for me, I don't know about successor, but I'm very happy that he's actually gone to CSK, because he's a high quality player. Can come in different positions, and I really find him to be a long-term player for CSK. And I know for a fact that any good quality player who wants a great franchise to play for, they couldn't ask for better than CSK. And I'm certain that once he goes and experiences the love of the people in CSK and the love of the franchise itself, I'm certain that he will want to come out there and do as much as he can possibly do for the franchise.
And someone who can replace Dwayne Bravo, having the same
100%.
kind of role.
He gives you, he covers not just one position, and he covers Dwayne Bravo's position. He covers a position with the new ball where he can bowl. He's been bowling a lot with the new ball nowadays, so he can bowl with the new ball, and then he can also bat at the top of the order. So he gives you a lot of flexibility, and that's the kind of role that you want an all-rounder to play for you, and he kind of covers all those bases, which is right up CSK's alley. So I'm super excited for CSK and that Ben Stokes has joined CSK.
Not just his bowling, not just his batting. his fielding, his captaincy, they've been on point for a while now after he's taken up that role in England. So he brings a lot to the
Absolutely.
table. Coming down
Oh,
to
100%.
coming down to someone like Ajinkya Rahane, will you take this as a steal for CSK?
No, I take it as a very clever buy for CSK because he's a high quality player. I mean, and in a sense, he has been written off a little bit with limited opportunities. A similar thing happened to me between 18 and 20. So for me, I'm very happy that he's at a point in his career where he can hopefully finish his career with CSK. And once again, he's played along with MS and Ben Stokes and a couple of other guys, Deepak Chahar at Pune Super Giants in the past. So he knows what this experience is going to entail. So it'll be a great atmosphere for him to go out there and perform really well for the side. And a like-to-like replacement for someone like Ruturaj, in case they want to go with two Indian openers, both of them can open. Maybe a number 3, number 4 option as well. So he has a lot to offer for this side, not just as a batter, but even as a fielder. He's an exceptional fielder. We all know how good Ajinkya is in the field.
So CSK have spent a lot of amount on Ben Stokes. Do you think now the kind of back they have, they would go for the domestic players, and who would they be?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think they will go for domestic players, and I think they'll go. The buys will be very clever buys, and I think it'll be good buys. I think.
So that was Robin Uthappa, a Kannadiga who played for Kolkata mostly and towards the end of his career for Chennai Super Kings. Both stints quite successful for him. Now, he was giving an idea about how Ben Stokes will fit into the mix, and something what Sahil said about Chennai continuing to build the dad's army. They picked up Ajinkya Rahane, they've picked up Ben Stokes, Jason Holder also not as sprightly as he was once. Is there a pattern, or is this something? Is this some sort of a targeted strategy that they have?
I don't know how much of it is a target and how much of it is just, like the legacy of CSK, buying people who they can rely on. I mean, Dad's Army the term was used for, I think, 3 years in a row. And of those years, one time they got to the knockouts, and the second year they won. The second year lost, and then they won it.
Yeah.
So it's weird. I mean, Shane Watson was being written off, 6 years ago. The guy with a bleeding sock and a bleeding ankle, he goes and scores 100. So I get it. It's a catchy term. It's a social media friendly term. But there's definitely a brain and a half behind these calls. They really value senior players. Sometimes, yes, naturally, it doesn't work out when you have an Imran Tahir and an Harbhajan Singh on the same squad, both vying for one spot and then not doing well because they've gone on in sporting years. But there's definitely, we've seen this with CSK, and especially with MS Dhoni, who is Mr. CSK and will always be Mr. CSK. They do value calm, level heads, but also people who perform. So they might be getting on in years, but they're all performers.
Okay. Srini, would you agree with that assessment that they're just looking for performers? And I mean, this throws up in the air the question about, what they are planning for the future. Because, again, if you look at the squad right now, the players that are going to form the core, obviously Ben Stokes is going to be one of those players. Again, in a couple of years, they're going to be hunting for new blood. And it is going to create a lot of problems for them.
I don't know what is it about CSK. I mean, you see a Faf du Plessis when he was with CSK, what he did. I mean, the ultimate match winner. Like the guy, there's something that happens to these. If you're above 30 and wearing yellow, I think there is some kind of a connection there. Because these same guys end up going elsewhere and then they are just, they're there. But with CSK, before that it was Shane Watson. Towards the sunset of his career, the guy peaked once again. That one last time, right? Before that it was Michael Hussey. It's an endless thing. And of course, we have MS Dhoni. We saw some of the matches that he pulled off in the last season, right? So I don't know what they do, and if this is working for them, why not? I'm saying, see, every franchise may have a different. Okay, I mean, I don't want to. Probably, I want to, kind of look at the youngsters from a different perspective. The parent company of Chennai Super Kings runs a T20 league in Tamil Nadu, and it has done wonders not just to the local cricketing ecosystem, but how it has catered to across, kind of to Ranji Trophy and to probably even other franchises in IPL. And in Mushtaq Ali, it's given way to great new talent, right? So probably they are doing what they are doing for youngsters at that level. At CSK, they want to maintain a certain brand. It's like an all-stars kind of a concept. I'm not really, that's not the path I want to take, right? I mean, sorry, I mean, I didn't really mean that. Like what I meant was, they have a different way of looking at things. So it maybe because this has worked for them. So for them to, there are two ways of looking at this. Are you already kind of planning your next, you're putting your next 5 years, 10 years plan in place, and have you identified? For that, I keep coming back to square one, where I say that if to answer that question, it's a very simple thing. Have you identified what you're going to do outside of, when MS Dhoni is not part of your franchise, right? If you have an answer to that question, everything else will fall in place, right? This entire dream has revolved around one man. How are you going to find an answer to that? That's one. And two is based on that, you will probably get an idea whether, this young blood that you talked about, the youngsters coming in, based on what their new pathway is, it will probably define how they are going to change their strategy going forward.
You want to add to that?
I'm saying if you look at the IPL, the two big teams are Mumbai Indians, 5-time winners, and CSK, 4-time winners. The distant third, whoever, it doesn't matter, because these two franchises, they have a formula. Like Srini said, it's worked in very, very different ways. But I think, yes, Dad's Army was this joke, but who had the worst auction last year? Mumbai Indians, right? So what worked for them for 13 years did not work. It's like a different think tank went and picked that, and letting go of Bolt, Chahar, all these players, like Quinton de Kock. You've let go of your highest wicket taker, your highest run scorer, and your best wrist spinner, right? CSK did not make that many blunders. I remember Stephen Fleming's comment from 2020, okay, we picked that team to play at the Chepauk. Up the tournament was moved to the UAE, that's a different matter. But despite all the flack that they get, there is a clear line of thinking there. We can question it, we can question the age group, but their thinking seems much more clear than Mumbai Indians for me for the past 3 years.
Okay. And Sri, I don't think you are wrong in calling them like an all-star squad. I mean, what comes to my mind is Real Madrid, the whole Galacticos policy that they bring in old, tested, experienced players with a great fan base, build a team around them, and then keep that franchise
It
up
is my
there.
stated policy to not, lean on themes, that established themes. Yes, so I digressed, so I thought I will.
He quickly changed track there.
Yeah. That's one. The other bit is, I just continuing from where Jamie left, is this point again. I mean, I keep emphasizing on this very thing that, there's auction. This is the root of everything that is wrong with IPL. Do away with this. Do away with this.
By your own admission, 70% of IPL is entertainment. So, and this is great entertainment.
This is great. This is great drama on this given day. Everybody, even I am enjoying it.
Exactly.
Even I've just kind of tweeted that it's so great to see a Shimam Mavi and a Mukesh Kumar on that kind of money and everything, which is fine. But to me, the bigger story is when a franchise in Lucknow or a franchise in Kolkata, in Bengal, is going to develop their own Shivam Mavi, bring him from somewhere, that last mile, and make him into a homegrown star. Then make him wear your Kolkata purple or your LSG colors or your Mumbai colors, and I want a Chennai to, which obviously they have done by way of in Tamil Nadu, things have happened because of TNPL, right?
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, in terms of the context that we are speaking in, a CSK franchise goes deep into Tamil Nadu looking for what they can get from a Coimbatore, from a Mysore, from Madurai, and then bring them all to kind of become.
But what you're talking more about is with regards to what can be done in the future. But okay, again, I want to pick on something that has been spoken about too many times, but I don't think it has been discussed enough. So again, if we look at Team India, the playing 11, it's fantastic. Since we're talking IPL, we'll stick to T20. They have got a good squad, a great squad, a world-beating squad, but we have not won that trophy in a long, long time. We won the inaugural edition of the T20 World Cup, and that's it. A lot of people, what they are saying now, a lot of experts, what they are saying now is that Team India gets this very small window where their players can cool down, but that's when they end up playing IPL. And they are a busy bunch. They're not able to, they're never able to cool down. Like something like what happened with Virat Kohli. Like Virat Kohli had to voluntarily say that, okay, fine, I'm stepping away from the game for some time, got his mojo back, he's back, and now he's back in the team, he's scoring runs, all is fine. But what about the larger squad? Is IPL actually creating the kind of problems that people are associating it with?
So I'll speak first because I've been very, very open about this. That T20 World Cup win that you just alluded to, spoke of, that was done before the IPL, right? So it's a fact. In 14 years, 15 years since the IPL started, India has not won a single T20 World Cup. Is it because of the IPL? No. Is it linked? Absolutely, it's linked, right? Because to my mind, the last year's T20 World Cup, which was a home World Cup because India was the host, shifted. India had no business not steamrolling every single team in that tournament, right? And because it was a home World Cup, you had players. Yes, it can be argued that players are fatigued, but at this level, I don't buy fatigue as an excuse for anyone, right?
Okay.
Your squad, every single player, you're the only team in that 16 team, Srini? 16 team T20 World Cup, every single player of yours had played the IPL. All the other teams, maximum 4, 5, 6 had played because of the 4 overseas rules. So you had no business not doing it. It was that World Cup when I thought they were going to win it and they lose to Pakistan. I said, then what is the IPL giving you, right? Not because of what you just mentioned, players do skip, certain series and play the IPL. I made peace with that a long time ago. I get it. But despite this fantastic system, we've talked about the depth, how the catchment areas and youth. When you're not, forget winning, you're not even consistently competing at T20 World Cups. That has to be then alluded to the IPL. Why is it not happening, right? If your top 6 guys are coming out of the IPL, why aren't you winning? People said, "Arey yaar, these tournaments all come down to one day." Yes and no, but you need to brace for that day. 9.5 years, going on 10 years, since any Indian cricket team got its hand on any ICC silverware. Forget Test, forget one day, different format, but T20. 2014, Yuvraj struggled against Malinga, I get it. 12, they didn't even get to the second stage. 16, I mean, a fantastic knock from Kohli at the Wankhede, we were both there. Lendl Simmons comes and trumps that. You can look at these one-off days, but given the depth, given the money, given the brand, everything that Srini and you have been talking about here, you have to ask why India is not winning more T20 trophies. Even the Asia Cup. This year, you were not even the 3rd best team in Asia, and we're talking about winning T20 World Cups. In this regards, I have to place some blame towards the IPL.
Would you agree with that, Srini?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the point that he's made is like obviously there. I'll just add a bit to it. Look at Mumbai Indians, look at BCCI. What is Mumbai Indians doing? What is BCCI doing? In terms of when they go identify talent. They have been, the approach has been in terms of, working. The tournament happens only 2 months in a year. But the whole approach has been about working throughout the year to identify, if not this year, then the next, who can they probably look at, right? Has the BCCI got to do it right now? They have a robust league running in place, right? The BCCI doesn't really need to do anything. It needs to only track what its own 10 franchisees are doing, right? BCCI doesn't really, at one time BCCI had a TRD or Talent Research Development Wing where, from where the, the MS Dhonis and the Suresh Rainas were identified. I remember there was a time when Zahir Khan made his debut, people were actually talking about this for a while that he comes from Srirampur, which is a small town near Ahmednagar. It was a talking point. Today, is it a talking point? Are we discussing, oh, Mukesh Kumar has come from Gopalganj? It's understood that, where IPL has reached. So, the franchisees are doing all the bulk of this work for BCCI. But from there, if you as a federation cannot put a bunch of selectors in place who can look at this from a very logical perspective, continue to fall prey to the so-called elephants in the room, not think beyond the obvious names, not think logically to what is there in front of you, shut your eyes to the talent. Number one, BCCI needs to stop looking at T20 as any other cricket. T20 is very different. So you need to pursue it as a completely different sport altogether. Now you're getting an look at the archaic mindset here. I'm no disrespect meant to anyone. This is a professional space. You get a selector from somewhere in the 80s who doesn't understand half of the white ball format and how it has advanced over the years. You bring him into a T20 ecosystem, and then you are you want him to do something which he has not done for the rest, forever in his life, right? What do you need to do? Do we need a guy who played cricket in the 80s or 90s to come and become a selector here in this format? No. I need a number cruncher, I need a data analyst, I need a guy who is good with C++ and Java to sit there, identify, break down those numbers, tell me what is the what do the numbers say. You know what, I mean, I'm saying today fantasy league, everybody likes to play fantasy league, right? I mean, I don't think any selector would ever come close to identifying how a fantasy Dream 11 works, because that works on serious numbers, right?
Exactly.
And I work with a very, very young team now. Every day for me is a learning experience. I track this space. I cannot apply anything that I as a journalist traditionally understood. It's a modern day space, and I need to understand where youngsters are coming from and how they are looking at this space. I need to learn from them. That is a very simple thing BCCI needs to understand. Don't apply logic here. Respect the space and learn from them. You will automatically do well.
And just to add on very briefly, every single thing Srini said, I get, but we have to also accept that the IPL is the BCCI and the BCCI is the IPL. Yes, those 8-10 franchises can go off and do their own whatever they want to do in those 10 months, but it's BCCI prides itself on being the IPL, right? तो गड़बड़ कहाँ है श्रीनी, बताओ हमें.
हाँ, तो गड़बड़ यहाँ है कि you said IPL is BCCI, BCCI is IPL, right? No.
Okay.
The BCCI doesn't run IPL anymore. The 10 franchises run IPL.
But it is this cash cow that the BCCI has prided itself
BCCI
on.
is a federation that decides, okay, the auction will happen in Kochi on 23rd, and make sure to plan your Christmas holidays properly, because you're not going to have enough time. I'm only going to give you 48 hours to travel back to wherever you have come from, to be in time, be home for Christmas in time.
One of the best takedowns of the BCCI I've ever seen. Fantastic.
So, for me, the 10 franchises run IPL. They are the ones who drive this ecosystem forward. BCCI just keeps up. Okay, there is a governing council which obviously takes decisions, but then the governing council needs to evolve, and I'm sure it will. It will from, there was in between, there was a, we all know what happened in Indian cricket. BCCI was not even there in the picture for 4 years, 4.5, 5 years, right? I'm sure this space is going to evolve, but the larger context of what I mentioned.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry to interrupt you here, but Manish Pandey is up for the bid right now, and it seems he's going for a very low price. Hold on. I think the bidding was going on between Delhi and, okay, RCB has put up its paddle, and Delhi and RCB are going to be at it. What do you guys think? How much for Manish Pandey?
Again, I'll say it because I don't like to change my tune wherever I go. I'd be surprised if this guy goes for a lot. I think he's been a colossal disappointment. Manish Pandey, what he was, first Indian to score 100 in the IPL 2009, fresh off a year after that Virat Kohli's batch, he was there. He scored a fantastic 100 in a dead rubber ODI in Sydney in 2016. He's just not able to. And why I'm being harsh is because he was actually that special. He was Shreyas Iyer before Shreyas Iyer.
And I think the bidders have also had their say in this matter, Jamie. He has gone for just 2.4 crores.
He should be very, very happy with that. I don't want to be harsh. He's played the game at the highest level, but he's a colossal underperformer. It's Manish Pandey, fantastic talent. At one point was the best fielder in Indian cricket, in my humble estimation. I don't think he can say for lack of chances. He's got enough chances. Yes, he's been shuffled up and down, but batting at 3, given that fantastic role, batting at number 3, too many matches, just not enough results, my view.
Okay.
No, very true actually.
Yeah, so Rassi Van der Sim, okay, he has gone unsold surprisingly. Heavy hitting South African. I wanted to ask you something, Srini, about what Jamie was talking about when it comes to Manish Pandey. Manish Pandey,
did Rassi go unsold?
he went unsold, yeah.
For now, he might come back.
Yeah, but yeah, okay.
So what Jamie was talking about Manish Pandey, that has been proven to be true for many other younger players who have been introduced to IPL. Pawan Negi is the other name that comes to my mind. Again, is the IPL to be blamed, or is that just too much money for somebody who is in their early 20s, and then, that kind of derails their thought process and the way they want to function as a cricketer?
So this was a case 12 years ago, okay? this was a case where a youngster coming into the squad, it was easy to, you know, kind of get distracted by whatever, like, you know, that I don't know how many people today would remember the after party culture that IPL used to talk about. You know, it was fashionable to be seen around wearing your, you know, kind of the Gucci's and the Armanis that arrived into cricket. You know, larger than life goggles. You know, that made you see things with, you know, that fancy tinted thing. But then point is, the space has matured. Franchises have matured. Cricketers are maturing, and everybody understands that this is a show that has to go on. And there are a certain set of responsibilities that are required if you need to enter. So I'm not saying once in a while you will get young minds who are going to still bound to get distracted. The example that he took of Manish Pandey, you know, and what he said, why it is important and what he says is very crucial to note is because it hurts to see a talent of, you know, that kind to just go awry. I mean, you want to see a Manish Pandey do well. That is where it hurts. A lesser cricketer probably not, you know, kind of sticking around and walking away, and you would say, okay, fine. I mean, you know, tried his luck, went away, right? What did that apply to Manish Pandey? No, I think, you know, we could have seen better things. You know, talked about, you know, the first ever century in IPL, and I remember the season South Africa. I was there, you know, and when the IPL happened there, quite a star, and we were looking forward to the kind of things that. Probably were coming.
And even for India, he didn't do that well. The tournament that you were referring to, the one in Australia.
It was a dead rubber match. He got 116 not out.
And India I think chased down about 320 odd runs in that game. Yeah.
This was the series when Bumrah came and they won the T20s 3-0. They lost. But I just go back to, because we saw what this guy could do as a teenager, right? And he just came across the hardworking, no nonsense. You know, he was not seen as one of these flashy players. So I, personally speaking, I had a lot more hope from the guy. Won KKR their second title. You know, he was a big match player, but Hyderabad all these years batting at 3, the strike rate hovers between 110, 120, just not good enough. There have been ample matches when he's just not been able to take, you know, Hyderabad across the line. It's just, I mean, it's just personally, I had a lot of hopes from him, and I think whatever the reason is, only he will know. He just did not live up to that expectation.
Okay, so Will Jacks, I think he was sold for 3.2 crores. Practically an all-rounder. He is, he has scored over 2,500 runs in List A as far as
I'm surprised he didn't go for more. Will Jacks, because of fantasy, I track all these leagues a lot more than the average person. This guy's a T20. He's a big star in the making. He opens. I was very, very surprised and pleasantly surprised to see how England picked him in a test squad and made him into a spinner, taking 6 wickets on that flat track in Pakistan. I'm like, this guy's been scoring runs as an opener. I thought he'd go for 5 to 7. Nahi gaya, but this guy's going to be around for a long time. Will Jacks.
Okay, so
I'm
he
trying
hasn't
to
picked
read
up
his
by
profile
RCB.
here on the internet, which says shots to mainstream attention with a 25 ball 100 in the T20 game in a pre-season game in Dubai. So
T20 openers. So IPL has a soft spot for overseas openers. It's a steal deal, but I think Will Jacks should be like, I should have gone for a bit more.
No, and he's going to be playing in Bangalore, where he can score those big runs.
But again, sorry to cut you off, Bangalore had this blockbuster player called Finn Allen. They couldn't fit him into their 11. I hope they fit in Will Jacks, because Bangalore is like the Punjab franchise. Change the name of that franchise. They are the most underperforming franchise. RCB gets to the finals, I know, but they're like the England of world football. Get to the knockouts and don't do much. I just hope that now that they've got Will Jacks, RCB that is, play the guy, because he's going to win you matches.
Okay, that'll be interesting to see. I mean, whether with Faf du Plessis, with Virat Kohli in the squad,
find a way. Find a way. This is what the top teams do. They find a way to play these guys. So
okay, I think they are still okay. David Malan has come up. I'm pretty sure he will go up for a few.
that's if there's commitment to stay here for longer.
Yeah.
And not pull out of the tournaments at the last
England
minute.
doesn't have any other commitment. They are going to be there for the entire season. So it's going to be
No. I'm saying that not just, I mean, commitment to stay here throughout the tournament is one, and then making sure that, you know, you are here for better, like, you know, not going to take breaks or not turn up 2 months before the tournament.
okay.
You probably.
I think he has. I think they've heard you, Srini. I think he has gone unsold. Surprising.
Also with David Malan, again, I was having this discussion on a show earlier today. David Malan has been the #1 ranked T20 batsman for a long time. But I think a lot of franchises, Srini, please correct me if I'm wrong, they view these guys as, yeah, he scored his runs in a certain place, right? I think the BBL is a classic example of players picked on what they've done there, but the batsmen specifically have not been able to score runs in these conditions. David Malan played for Punjab, I think, last year, couldn't do a darn thing, because what you do in New Zealand, England, South Africa, it does not mean you're going to be successful in India.
Unless you're a Joss Butler.
Josh Butler, no, Kevin Peterson, Matthew Hayden, these guys, you know, Mike Hussey. You have to be cut from a slightly different cloth. No disrespect to David Malan. He had a great year and a half, almost 18 months at the top of the rankings. But you need to be scoring runs across the world to get that value when it comes to the IPL. Because this is an Indian tournament played in India. My 2 cents on the matter.
No, very true.
Okay, now the other thing that I want to check with you guys is, so far as all the purchases are concerned, who do you think has been the winner as far as this auction is concerned?
Harry Brook is
13.25 crore, yeah.
That's a big deal. Maybe recency bias because, yes, he's one of these players like a Will Jacks, like a Liam Livingston, like a Will Smead, like a Tom Banton, not too long ago. I think Tom Banton went somewhere, I'm not sure. He was...
No, Tom Banton I think went unsold.
Unsold, okay.
Yeah.
So he comes from that category where, you know, predominantly done very well in the white ball format, has some good first class numbers, but 2 months ago, or even a month ago, you would have said, oh, this guy is probably pigeonholed into the T20 one-day format. A guy goes to Pakistan on those wickets, scores 468 runs at an insane average, but a strike rate of some 94, 95.
Okay.
So no doubt recency bias and a very smartly timed comment by Brendan McCullum, who off the cricket field has big interest in horse racing. He's a maverick. A couple good comments like him has made this a payday for Harry Brook. Is he a future superstar? By all means. He's going to be a tremendous 3-format player. But I think what this guy has gone and done in 3 test matches has definitely swayed the franchise here. So I think, yes, he probably would have gone for 6-7, but for him to walk away with 13.25, fantastic. For me, is the biggest winner.
Okay. Srini?
Well, you know, the way Sunrisers managed to bag Mayank at the price at which they managed to bag him, it just, you know, it gives them a captain, gives them an opener, quite a name. I thought it was a very decent buy considering some of the other things. So that's one. Number 2, I think when you come to an auction with a very clear plan and then you identify that plan, work towards it and walk away, I think it's very fulfilling. And that's why I'll go with Mumbai Indians going for Cameron Green, where they decided that, you know, they could have gone for that amount, you know, they could have pursued that bit with, you know, Sam Curran also. But they knew exactly where they wanted to stop and not go for Curran beyond that point, right? They knew that Ben Stokes, despite whatever his all-round skills are, is not what they wanted. They wanted to invest in young legs and they got him, right? So that was very satisfying. Kane Williamson, for the kind of, where it goes at base price, solves an opening, you know, dilemma for the thing. I thought that was a good buy. And, well, now it's all about, the story is all about the youngsters.
Right.
Now, I mean, outside of that.
Okay. And, okay, besides Gujarat and Lucknow, which other franchises do you think have, like, shaped up a little better? Besides, I purposely kept Gujarat and Lucknow because they are set. I mean, whichever player they bring on, it's I think only going to improve the squad a bit better. But otherwise, who do you think has done a good job?
I mean, I am very, very clear that in 2000, in the previous auction, the mega auction, okay, it's not completely true that MI went completely unprepared. MI went with a larger big picture also, where the plan was identifying what they could do going forward, right? So obviously, let's look at the example. This is very interesting. Look at the example of Jofra Archer. Nobody in England is talking whether he's going to, like, you know, is celebrating the fact that Jofra Archer is coming back from injury. He's trending here in India, that he's coming back, and that's the magic of what the IPL has done, right? Now, due credit to MI that in the previous auction they identified that come what may, we will wait, but we want Jofra Archer to bowl alongside Jasprit Bumrah. Now, what went into the making of this? Was it a Mahela Jayawardene and a Zahir Khan sitting together and probably, you know, kind of bringing an Englishman to think about this? Or I don't know what goes into this kind of a mindset where Jasprit Bumrah and Jofra Archer together will make quite a combination. Some science would have been applied to it. And a clarity of thought which they sat there and said, okay, 1 million, take it. They could have splurged that money on 2 other bowlers and brought them back, right? And this so-called argument which is being placed that, you know, oh, MI did not buy enough bowlers in the auction. I'm wondering, was there a plan in place to put that 1 million out there for Jofra? Now in hindsight, well, it's anybody's guess. That's one. The other bit is, and then they said, okay, come what may, we want Ishan Kishan back. That tells you about, you know, you talk about family culture, MI as a family.
Right.
You know, it's one thing to talk, the other thing to actually walk that distance. So, what you did in terms of letting Ishan Kishan know that, listen, bacha, you're mine, you will come back to me, I will take care of
But okay, all that being said and done, we haven't seen that in this auction at all. Like, if a player has been let go of, they've been let go of, and yeah.
This is a very small auction, right?
Yeah, but still, you know, the teams that were looking to like build themselves up a little better, I don't think they've managed to do that. I mean,
Well,
okay, the best purchases are with Hyderabad, but if I look at their entire squad,
Punjab went after Mayank Agarwal.
no, agreed, but they didn't get him. If I look at Hyderabad, they have Harry Brooks, they have Mayank Agarwal, they made few other purchases, but they still don't look like a team that can pose any sort of a challenge. I would say Delhi has done something right by getting in Phil Salt and I think Mukesh Kumar it was, fast bowler. But again,
you have to take it on a franchise to franchise basis and see, like Srini just mentioned, what they've done before this, right? Delhi is again that team which on paper I can rarely remember them fielding a bad squad, right?
Yeah.
Angelo Matthews, Jesse Ryder, Ross Taylor, Mahela Jayawardene, who's now gone on to great things since he put on the MI jersey, Yuvraj Singh, but somehow they don't get. I think when Shreyas Iyer was made captain, something changed and the name was changed to from the Capitals. Again, now they've lost him and he looked like a different Shreyas Iyer at KKR. But just going back to the Mumbai Indians and the family concept, I once called them the Suraj Badatia family of the IPL. But Srini, I want to ask you, because you mentioned this whole Jofra Archer thing. At one point, you would have envisioned or imagined that they said, chalo, ek saal ke liye, there's no Archer. But like a Bravo and a Pollard who were there for a decade, but do you think now they're looking that long, or is it even, are they looking maximum 3 years down the line? And is that not problematic and also symbolic of how the IPL is changing? I don't think finally they're looking beyond 3 years of Jofra Archer. At one point, they were looked at him for 10 years. Has that changed, and is that the right way to do it?
Yeah, I think so. See, okay. So when they had to dismantle the team because of the retentions that they couldn't hold on to, right? They had to let go of some players that they had like invested in, right? So I think what they're now, even if they were to start saying, okay, we start building things from the scratch again, and you know, look at a 5-year canvas, look at a 3, 5, 7-year canvas, and build it. In the interim, you still got to play the tournament. You got to keep your brand going. You got to keep, you know, whatever. So they could have made a year can be an aberration, like kind of, you know, 1 year probably, you know, you're just starting off. But I'm just thinking aloud here. What about the 2023 season? Now look at the same team. You know, there is a Rohit Sharma in place, there is a Surya Kumar Yadav in place, Cameron Green comes in, you have a Tilak Verma and a Tim David comes in, then you have a Jofra Archer coming in with Jasprit Bumrah, a spinner there, and you got a team and Ishan Kishan to stand behind the wickets, and suddenly you have a team that is beginning to show. So now, to answer your question, well, this is still an interim. Now, why I'm saying this is an interim, because I can tell you behind the scenes, what would MI be thinking right now? They have invested in the Cape Town League. Right? There is a brand new, new set of players coming in. They are going to look at. They've got Brevis here. So look at the kind of thought process that has gone in. When Brevis was coming here, they knew that a league in South Africa would be coming, and they would want that start there. That is long-term thinking. And today, look at MI. We are sitting here and discussing who they are identifying here. They would probably be sitting in Johannesburg and Cape Town right now and identifying where the new talent is coming from, probably, you know, scouting the garden route, for all you know.
That's a franchise, I think, which should be listening to Srini, and especially the BCCI has to be taking a leaf from Mumbai's book. So
exactly, that's exactly why I said BCCI wants to figure out what to do. Just look at Mumbai Indians. Simple.
Okay. Both of you still haven't answered my question about which team has done the best business so far.
Business
Or,
as in?
like
Who's
in
got the
this
best?
auction, which team has managed to
Oh,
build a good
so far.
side for itself so far? Yeah,
That's what
barring Gujarat and Lucknow, that is.
Okay, well, yeah, so that's why I said Sunrisers Hyderabad getting Mayank Agarwal,
Okay.
I think that was wonderful. And, you know, I will still, KKR, the kind of, the lesser known players that they've picked, you know, they're somehow trying to put things in place. If we can make good use of the 7 crore that they have in hand.
I really don't see how that is going to work for
yeah,
them.
and then, as I said, Mumbai Indians, right? Because for me,
No, what you said about Mumbai Indians,
Yeah.
I do agree. Yeah, there is some thought behind it. Jamie, your take?
I mean, look, I think CSK probably spent a lot more on Ben Stokes than was required, but look at the quality of player you've got, right? Sheeny's already mentioned the leadership vacuum, the leadership role, which they're going to have to address that elephant in the room very, very soon, you know. So from that perspective, what Ben Stokes offers any team environment, I think they'll be very happy with that. A couple gaps to plug, but I think they'll be very happy because they let go of Faf du Plessis, which was for me was a crime. You know, I mean, this guy was done. He was your most successful opener. You know, I mean, after Michael Hussey, and you let him go for what 6.2 to RCB. That's peanuts, right? 6 point something. So they needed
you
to
talk about the retentions.
Faf du Plessis, right?
Yeah, Chennai.
Yeah,
right? But
last
who
year.
did they retain? MS Dhoni was stayed back, Ravindra Jadeja,
Bravo,
Bravo, and
Gaikwad.
Gaikwad. So
Right.
they couldn't have, there
But-
was no space.
They could have paid
Bought
a
him
bit
back.
more and got him back.
Oh, yeah,
They
okay.
bid for
At
him.
the
They bid
auction.
for him. No, on an auction. I'm talking about auction. They bid for him and they pulled out. I think it's 6.25,
Yeah.
which was
They
like
pulled out very
that was like the steal
Yes.
deal. Like RCB getting him. Faf du Plessis is the fittest 37-year-old going around. Scores runs in all these leagues. So this CSK. So I think they will realize that error and they've gone for like a solid product in Ben Stokes. I think they'll be very, very happy. Again, Mumbai Indians hard to disagree, especially when you mention the dual brevis angle. I mean, the guy
Even the story
he's
of
the future.
Mohsin Khan, you know, it's such a fascinating story. You know, Mohsin was with MI obviously before he went to, you know, went back into the auction. I remember, you know, people saying MI let him go, MI didn't play him. There's a story is not out yet. Like, see, obviously they couldn't have kept him back. The whole team had to be dismantled because of, you know, retentions and whatever, right? So after, but it's still not known the kind of work that was put in for Mohsin at the back end, where Mohsin didn't just suffer one; he suffered back-to-back injuries in you know, in consequent years, right? The amount of time that MI's you know, medical team spent with Mohsin, okay, on not just his surgery but the rehab, and the time it took for him to kind of come back and be ready in time for the auction. That so people have not noticed in Brabon. I think it was Brabon or Wankhede, I'm not sure. I watched the match on television. Mohsin, so LSG had was playing Mumbai Indians. The match got over. After the game got over, Mohsin went to thank each and every member of the Mumbai Indians support staff. Why? Because the 2 years of effort that they had put him in ensuring that he's back. You know, okay, this is not something, probably, I don't know, I should say, like, you know, not just Mohsin. So, Mohsin's dad was unwell, right? He needed immediate medical attention. MI actually flew dad also to get him treated. So, you know, this is how you build a team culture. And that guy, wherever he goes, whichever franchise he plays for, he's not going to forget what Mumbai Indians did for him. And that's how you create bonding.
And that's why they also won 5 titles. So
There you go.
it's in the water they drink also.
Look at what they've done with Kieron Pollard. You know, the manner in which, you know, they sent out that statement, Pollard statement, you know, and kind of keeping him in the ecosystem, I think that speaks volumes.
Yeah.
Well, this is our special coverage here on News 18 as far as the IPL auction for 2023 is concerned. My name is Edwin Thomas. I'm being joined by Srinivas Rao, Network 18 Group Editor for Sports, and cricket analyst and expert Jamie Alter. I mean, it's been quite a day. I mean, a lot of money has been spent, not the most, but if we look at the players that have been brought, the top 5 players who commanded the highest price tags, all foreign players, something that has never been seen before. The highest amount paid for an Indian player was 8.25 crores. That was for Mayank Agarwal, who has gone to Hyderabad, probably will end up captaining the team as well. And a surprise package in Mukesh Kumar, who was bought by Delhi for 5.5 crore. What does this tell you about this auction? What exactly were the teams looking for, and which team do you think got what they were looking for?
I think the IPL, especially T20 format, last few years has all been about all-rounders. I mean, more than a few years. I think the West Indies, which is the only team to have won the T20 World Cup twice, their core was all-rounders. And I think the IPL has learned that, maybe a little bit lately, that the Indian cricket system needs more all-rounders coming through. This was always going to be an IPL auction about the all-rounders. No surprise that the top 3 of them are all-rounders. All, in fact, I tweeted the IPL has always crushed on these light-eyed, light-haired overseas all-rounders. Shane Watson, we already mentioned what he does. So I'm not surprised that these guys went to big bucks. I'm still surprised that CSK paid, what is it, 16.25 for Ben Stokes. So all these teams, I mean, just to add on what Srini was saying, you cannot fill the shoes of a Kieron Pollard. Not the Pollard the leader, Pollard the cheerleader, Pollard the morale booster, the batsman, the fielder. But in getting someone of that height and that muscular build in Cameron Green, also Srini, Cameron Green can fill the role with Pollard could not. He can also go and open the innings. Australian cricket took a big risk by getting him to open. He never opened. He got a 50, I think, in his first or second match. He's going to be this player around Mumbai Indians, and I hope will also go ahead and build their team. So from that aspect, he's also going to be a huge player to watch out for.
Your take on the big buys, Srini?
Well, as I said, the price at which MI wanted an all-rounder, they went and got Green. I think that was great. The big buys, I would say Mayank was a big buy at 8.25, but yet again a steal for the kind, because they get a captain and they get an opener. I think that, and well, big buys probably not just in terms of money, big buys even in terms of the profile that they add.
Right.
I don't know why, but you said not to include Gujarat, but my mind goes there, because for me, 50 lakh for Kane Williamson is good money. Great money to have him right at the top. The amount of experience he brings to the squad, I'm sure, kind of the calmness that he'll add in a last minute situation.
I just don't know how, where are they going to fit the guy in? He's a spent force. That's my, I get it, I'm not disagreeing. Baat to hai, but right now, the current T20 batsman that is Kane Williamson, I don't know. Tough to see him walk into that squad.
Right. Now, among the big buys, what surprised me the most was one Nicholas Pooran going to Lucknow Super Giants for 16 crores. Didn't make any sense. We can talk as much as we want about auction dynamics and where logic lies. I think it's still in the dustbin as far as Srini is concerned.
Yeah, I missed out looking at Kavya's face when Pooran was being there, because like she would have been like, don't these guys watch IPL?
Yeah, exactly.
No,
so again, I know we don't want to talk much about this, but again, what was the logic here? I mean, you have KL Rahul, wicketkeeper batsman, and a captain there. This is even if he's being brought in as a backup wicketkeeper, it's a ridiculously expensive buy. Where exactly do you fit him into that playing 11 of a very solid set team? Okay, they let go of Jason Holder maybe to make space for him, but again, this is a batsman wicketkeeper talking about, not a bowler. So what exactly do you think would have been the thought process there as far as picking up Pooran for 16 crores is concerned?
That's the reason I'm sitting here and not in one of these IPL think tanks. It just gobsmacked. Even last year when he went for 8 point something or bordering on 10, I was surprised then. Now see him, and he didn't do a thing, right? So he's just struggling. I get on paper he offers you so much. 2019 World Cup, I was there. He was this emerging player, but he's like sort of like a Manish Pandey. He's not lived up to what people thought he could do. Again, on paper, he's a captain. He keeps big hitter of the ball, but on current form, 16 crores, and like you said, where do you fit him into that team? I don't know. Big surprise for me.
Okay, and would it be right for me to say this, that the story of this auction has been more about the foreign players and not the Indian players? Because Indian players they were sold. It's not that they didn't the teams did not have any space, but clearly there is some sort of strategy when you see franchise after franchise going after foreign players for the kind of money that has been poured in just into this one small auction, which is not going to work out for a very long time, because very soon you will be having the mega auction as well.
Well, if you remove those 3 all-rounders aside, okay, Sam Curran,
Ben Stokes.
Yeah, Ben Stokes and Green. Then the story has been about specialists, and then doesn't matter whether it's been a foreigner or an Indian. You have just gone about putting specialists in place, because at the end of the day, now with this impact player rule coming in, you have the liberty to go in for that change.
Okay.
And that helps you. So what was this whole fascination for, all-rounders at one time which we saw kind of, diminishing over a period of time, because probably, and I'm like, don't hold me to it, but then probably was, the demand versus supply thing in terms of an all-rounder. The quintessential all-rounder. Was an all-rounder available? And then you thought, okay, how many slots can I block in a playing 11 from an all-rounder perspective? And, that was the whole thinking. And if that was not happening, I was willing to invest in a young India star who came at a far lesser price and probably have a bigger talent pool at my disposal, right? Now with impact player coming in, that onus is back on specialists. So I don't mind spending big on a specialist again.
Okay.
And because I know that I have the cushion to choose, right? And therefore the dependency on all-rounder has gone down. I'm not saying that the need for an all-rounder has diminished or disappeared altogether. That will never happen. From the 80s and from the time of the Imran Khans and the Bothans till today, an all-rounder was relevant, an all-rounder will remain relevant. That's not going anywhere. The point is, today, look at the all-rounders that, don't look at it as all-rounders alone. Look at why probably CSK may have gone for Ben Stokes. As we spoke earlier, the need to have an interim leadership role perhaps, and again we are sitting on the outside, I can only guess, if MS Dhoni were to go out, right? Likewise, MI, again, there is a gaping hole that's been left by Karen Pollard's exit, and again, CSK, Dwayne Bravo, the same thing, right? So, there's been a gaping hole that's been left by Karen Pollard. How? Somewhere you have to fill in that kind of a thing. And Sam Curran, I mean, I would, all-rounder, no all-rounder, I would just go for Sam. Why would I let go of Sam Curran? I mean, he's to me is the most valuable T20, one of the most valuable T20 cricketers right now.
Okay.
Right? So, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think recency bias is definitely a part of it. At the end of the day, all of us in the media will talk about the names and the price tag attached. Top 3 guys, right? Had Sam Curran not had a man of the series performance, had he not been picked, had he had a terrible T20 World Cup 6 weeks ago, he would not have got this kind of money. Ben Stokes, 15 months, he had not played a T20 for England.
Right.
Also, he's getting this money. England's system itself does not see him worthy of playing T20s, right? For that long, So why is it value now? Because at the end of the day, he was 52 not out in a World Cup final. The Pakistan's bowling was outstanding. It's what they did. Cameron Green has been talked about for the last year. So Harry Brook, 468 runs in a test series. Had he not scored those runs, he probably wouldn't have gone. So I think a lot of it is, yes, the all-rounders are very, very crucial. It was always going to be about the all-rounders. But what have these 3 all-rounders done? A lot in a very recent span of time, which is why they and Harry Brook got that money. Again, Nicholas Pooran, no idea what's happening there.
Will it be right for me at any degree to say that some of these could have been panic purchases? Especially given the kind of bidding that we saw, especially the kind of money that was spent on each of these players.
I don't really see a panic purchase when I'm trying to, like, I am trying to go and see what, let's say, a KKR has done. Well,
I mean, KKR didn't have the.
No, I'm just saying that's
purse.
what. So that's what. So they have literally kind of if they have I don't know. Do you know Vaibhav Arora?
Yeah.
Okay, I've not.
I've heard the name, but I can't say I know too much about it.
Okay, so they've bought
I
him
glanced
at
at this, yeah.
base price. They must have identified.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, right? Enjagadisan. They're like, kind of. So they knew exactly where they're to. I don't see any panic buys as yet.
Yeah, I don't know if it's panic. A couple of the reactions you're watching and like the look on the face of a certain member is like, should we be going that much? But yeah, I think I agree with you. I don't know how much of it is actually a panic purchase. It seems like they had a clear thing. But again, you can debate whether XYZ player should have gone for that.
Exactly.
That's it. Whether that's panic, I don't think so.
Okay. What do you think has been the story for the Indian players who have been sold so far in this auction? I mean, we saw Vivrant Sharma from Jammu going to Hyderabad for 2.6 crores. You had N. Jagdishan being taken back by Chennai for 90 lakhs. KS Bharat being brought by Gujarat for 1.2 crores. You have Mukesh Kumar. The highest purchase as far as an uncapped player is concerned for this auction, going to Delhi for 5.5 crores. And then you also had the story for Will Jacks. We'll come to that later, but as far as the Indian buys are concerned, do you think there has been enough thought put into it, or again, were they just trying to fill slots and keep the right kind of backups?
So okay, before this show actually began, and we were just discussing what is the trend that we are likely to see. And there were 2 points I made. One was 15 minutes into the auction and we'll probably come to know what the trend is going to be, right?
Exactly.
But other than that, I was still leaning to what I witnessed in the mega auction, where honestly I thought, because mega auction took me by complete surprise. right? I really thought with the kind of price purses that auctions were, franchises were going to, I would see a lot more spending happening on stars. There now the spending happened on specific players that
Exactly.
franchises wanted. Like for example, Mumbai Indians wanted Ishan Kishan, so the money on the check was not the problem as long as they had the purse for it, right? But look at the way they identified and went after domestic India stars. And I thought today, before coming into this auction, I thought that would be the story I'll probably get to see again. And I honestly, so on Geo Cinema, Chris Gale and some of the other hosts on the show, Suresh Raina and all, they did mock auctions. And Chris Gale went on to say that, Sam Curran, according to him, should fetch around 16 to 17 crore, which is exactly what has happened today, right? But yesterday, when I was looking to this, I was like, really, probably, what if these guys completely go unsold? And again, India domestic story prevails, right? But what I've seen in this auction today is for the first time I've seen a balance. I've seen a balance between good overseas players being given the opportunity, the real good names being paid top dollar, and again, India players being like kind of, there being an investment on it. So I think there's been a fair balance so far, what I've seen from this auction.
I think given the fact that, like you said, this is like a mini auction, if you want to call it that, there were no big Indian cap names, right? I mean, Mayank Agarwal, the biggest name, I think, then probably a distant second would be his Karnataka teammate Manish Pandey.
Yeah.
I was a bit skeptical whether Mayank, yes, I get the demand. There are at least 4 franchises to my mind who would want a player like Mayank Agarwal who opens, can be very, very selfless. I think last year he took one on the shoulder and batted in a different place. I think that probably won him brownie points. And he's a leader. But his IPL was borderline disastrous. His Syed Mushtaq Ali performance this year was abysmal. And his Vijay Hazare Trophy was not so good. So in recent form, he didn't have much. But I'm glad to see that a player of his class and stature was valued. Mukesh Kumar, we've spoken about, small time story, him doing well. But there were not too many of the capped Indian names to speak of, so I think that we cannot talk too much about. But the young players, you need to see this, what we talked about earlier, about what they go back and tell their domestic teammates. Okay? It's not about what I earned, but what I learned from being in that dressing room with a Gale or a Hussey, all these guys, who come to the CSK ranks. I think that is always going to be, from my perspective, what I look at when it comes to the uncapped Indian players. And I hope that this happens here as well.
Now,
Where did that boy go, Sheikh Rashid, to Chennai, right?
No, I don't know. I don't have the details for that yet.
Yeah, he went to Chennai.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm so happy for that boy. He scored a 50 in the semi-final, under-19 World Cup semi-final. Missed out in the auction list. I remember, Jamie, just before the mega auction, I think 48 hours before the mega auction, I desperately got a call from a friend from Andhra, very dear friend, saying, Kishri, this boy's name is not there in the list. And they tried calling, and but it was, I don't know whether it was a technical thing or what, or was it late or what. But poor fellow, I mean,
But see where he's gone.
exactly. And today he
CSK.
gets what he's worth, and he's gone to a good franchise, and I really hope that's the story we're looking at.
Now, you're talking about these stories about the smaller players, and of course the place it comes. Okay, I'm being told that KKR is holding a press conference right now. Let's go to it.
What sort of pricing that would have?
Sitting there, when you see a player start his career and he just looks at home.
We have a, coach calls it a gun 11 that we have, and then we already had 3, 11 plus 3. Now we've added 2. Hopefully we'll add 2 or 3 more, and then we're good, And, everybody keeps saying, oh, you have many slots to fill. No, we don't need to fill 25 slots. We have never filled 25 slots, except in the pandemic years, because of the quarantining requirement in case of replacement and all that. So you have to make sure that the squad, that's been our philosophy. One, the decisions you make, you back it, and you have to give people enough of a run. You can't fight injuries. It's a freak injury that Venkatesh Iyer had. I mean, Shardul, if you say he's in and out, I don't know what you mean, because he's been such a consistent performer with the bat and ball, and he's a match winner, basically. So we're delighted to have him as an all-rounder. So when you bat up to 8, even in the 11, not even taking into account the impact player rule, so you're batting very deep. When you have a Sunil Narayana coming in at 8, he's scored the fastest 50 in IPL history. So if he's batting at 8, and you still have a Lakh and a Umesh and a Varun. Varun will argue with you saying he's a batsman as well. So, so I think we're very happy with that lineup. And now it's about making sure that it's a long season, so we have enough options to work through. I mean, getting Gurbaz at 50 lakhs on a one-way trade was we think it was a steal. So we're very happy with that, getting Lakh back. And so we invest in people and we would like to have them back. So when we get a Vaibhav back and you get a Lakh back, we're sorry to lose Mavi though, but anyway, that's the way it goes sometimes.
Just a quick word on having Mr. Pandit at the table. How has the experience been having him around and at the auction table?
No, he's fantastic. I mean, and you guys have seen him, followed him in domestic cricket, and I mean, I think the thing that I've always tracked him and tried to keep an close eye out. But he comes with a very deep desire to win, and a very sincere, down-to-earth, straightforward individual who has a very simple philosophy. He says, results we don't control, but preparation we do. So I think what you'll see with him, even in the auction, the kind of time he's invested, and luckily for us, Madhya Pradesh won by an innings, and that's how he was able to come. Otherwise, he was going to miss the auction. But he called me up day before and said, "Oh, by the way, we've finished the game." I said, "Okay, here's the ticket, please come." So we were lucky to have him. He was not supposed to be here. So it's terrific, he's very thoughtful, listens a lot and he's new to the setup, so therefore he's coming to terms with him. I think he's enjoying the auction a lot, So, so it's been terrific. So. Great. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
So that was a press conference by the Kolkata franchise. Srini, would you agree with what they had to say about their team combination and about being so proud about having batsmen all the way up to number 8, especially given the kind of squad that they have managed to build?
Yeah, so when the press conference was happening, I was counting. 16 players on the list. I still think they need more. I want to know. And what is the kind of money that they have? They have some 5.5 crore left. So they have decent money to invest in a couple of women, but they still need a good team. Now when I'm looking at the squad, the Kolkata Knight Riders squad, the one thing that is not there is a batting lineup.
Exactly. No, that's exactly my point. He just said that they have batting going all the way down to number 8. What batting is he talking about?
Yes, I mean, if you can probably hold a bat and stand there, if that's batting, then
But hasn't
fine.
that been KKR's problem for the last 5-6 years?
Exactly.
Ever since Gautam Gambhir quit, actually.
Absolutely. They didn't know where to bat Owen Morgan. They didn't know where to bat Dinesh Karthik. They didn't know where to bat Nitish Rana.
Rahane.
They just don't know. I mean, Robin Uttapa, it's like go through, okay, again, you're not going to go through 10, 12 matches with the same 11, but try 5 matches, back guys, right? It seemed like, when they had Shubman Gill, things were going well, but again, it's not working out there as well.
And sometimes it's unfair, the pressure that a Nitish Rana takes.
Absolutely.
And, even Venkatesh Iyer, actually, the onus that has been there on him, and Sunil Narine, once in a while clicks, but that's not his job. That's not his job. You need to get, and you can't expect Shreyas Iyer here to be doing wonders. You need a well-oiled squad. I mean, let's see what they do with this. I'm not entirely convinced with KKR saying that they are
add on
sorted.
to their problems. I mean, Pat Cummins not playing this IPL, that just, compounds whatever issues that they have. I mean, it's not just batting. Even their bowling doesn't look to have enough teeth.
They've looked a bit off, like I said, the last few seasons. Yes, they've got to the knockouts in I think all but one season in that time. But again, you look at man-to-man, forget the squad. You look at the 11 that they put on the field. It's just, there's talent there, but like that Punjab franchise, the roles, the positions, and the KKR's middle order has been bad for a long, long time. And like Srini said, I don't think what they've done today is really solve that problem.
And look at a guy like Andre Russell. Obviously, a huge T20 talent. But the thing with Russell is, if he's clicked in the first match, he'll click, for the
tournament. True.
He's either there or he's not there, right? So there is no middle ground to this. But then let's keep one thing in mind. Come what may, you actually end up when the season starts, you do see the Knights kind of doing their thing and making their way up.
There.
And they've been there.
Yeah, they find a way, but it's like it's the classic, like the Punjab case. At some point, either Punjab will lose their first 5 or win their first 5, and then it's like a different team put together. I hope the KKR don't go down that road because, yes, Mumbai and CSK are the IPL, but as a fan base, KKR is second to none of them. They have a huge fan base, and 12-14 when they won.
And they're two-time champions. I mean,
it was in this studio.
nothing-
Gambhir was sitting here, and the aura that he had when guys walked, it was in this studio. You're sitting where you were sitting, and we were like, wow, he was an India player. He scored Test 100. He won a World Cup. But the aura of a Gambhir leading on KKR, right? Fantastic player. Uske baad, like you said, they've just not come close.
Yeah, and by the way, do credit to the boys. The Nitish Ranas and the all the Venkatesh Iyers and the Varun Chakravartis and all of them, all these young guys, the way they have made sure that Kolkata retains that fighting spirit. But for the franchise to say that no, we are sorted, you're saying we are sorted is just putting more pressure on these guys. You go first, buy the right kind of.
Ye baat batao, is the time gone for this over dependency on Rahane and Russell? To my mind, it was 2 years ago they hit that peak.
yeah.
Well, right now I would like to assume that it's helping them from a CPL perspective. They want to build those synergies. Those synergies are what it's helping them continue with the West Indian cricketers. Yes, but I agree. The time has come. The time has come.
Russell is one slip at third man away from missing a season.
Yeah.
Na? Again, when he pulls off, it's fantastic, but he's not doing it, which is natural for a player of his workload. It's fine.
Okay. So I just want to quickly go through, and this is going to be rapid fire, just like what they're going to do at the auction. Okay. So before the auction began, Chennai, they were looking to add on to all aspects. They got Ben Stokes, they got Ajinkya Rahane, they got Jason Holder. Quite literally, they have managed to fit in one player in each slot. But is it enough?
I think with CSK, yes, because of the MS Dhoni factor and that loyalty/family factor, I think they're going to have a good season.
Okay.
Rapid fire you wanted? I'm giving you rapid fire.
I think
exactly what I
right now CSK to me looks pretty decent.
Pretty decent. Okay. Now, Delhi, they were struggling to find a proper opener. And if possible, after the departure of Marcus Stoinis, we all saw how they needed an all-rounder with, who did they get? With Phil Salt coming in and with Mukesh Kumar coming in. Do you think they have managed to find something which would help them to be title contenders?
I'll go with what Jamie said. Delhi always ends up giving a great look to the squad whenever they're every auction day I can think of 15 years. The evening of the auction, will say Delhi, great squad. When the season begins,
Yeah,
you
you're like left
begin to
holding
look
your
at
head.
And
something
also,
else.
just to add on that, they've never been able. They always had that one top order overseas batsman who they've not been sure what to do with. Be it Ross Taylor, Jesse Ryder, Angelo Matthews, Steve Smith. So where are they going to fit him? And Salt is only an opener, and he's a keeper. And Delhi have always had a problem with the keeper in that they've always backed one person, right? So I
think Steve Smith has opted out of this season.
but like in the past, like you bat him 3 when he was not scoring, and they always had that one overseas player who's not been able to get enough regular playing time. And I think the template will be repeated and Phil Salt won't get too much playing time.
Okay. Gujarat, now they would have just looked to add on a few players to bolster their squad. They got Kane Williamson for a base price of 2 crores. Still looking like title contenders?
I think so, and I think a lot of franchises would have been very, very wary of this Gujarat at this auction because last year, if you asked pretty much anyone, they would have said, they have 4 match winners, that's it. But with that team, they went on to win. LSG had a much better team on paper, to my mind, right? We were all going, ye team hai. They did pretty well, but Gujarat, I think it changed the game, So a lot of franchises will be very, very keen to see. And you've got someone like Kane Williamson. I get it, but I'll say it again. Kaha fit karoge Williamson ko in that title-winning lineup?
I'll say this that just speaking from where Jamie's left, I've said this to Gujarat Titans that last year when I got a call from some people I know, what do you think about the team? I said I don't like it. I said I am not convinced by what you've done.
Same.
When they went back from the auction, and then I remember 2 days after the final got over, I called a person and said, I need to go back to what I said and address it because I still was, in hindsight, I'm still not convinced with what you did. But then I seriously need to take my words back and congratulate you for what you've achieved. Now the good thing is barring Lockie Ferguson who they let go, they have not tinkered much with the winning unit.
Right.
That stays intact and that gives me confidence that, never change a winning unit. Why? I mean, first year you won it, it's a dream team. Like what happened with Rajasthan Royals in 2008, right? So continue with it. Kane Williamson, as I said, I personally think a calming effect on this bunch, you know, and a batsman in place, you know, who can probably maneuver things. That said, they have 9.5 crore left.
Okay, we are going to stick to the whole rapid fire thing. So, Kolkata, they needed batsmen, they needed bowlers, most importantly fast bowlers. They have their Varun Chakravartis and all in place. I don't think they did any meaningful business here.
Rapid fire answer, they should have gotten Mayank Agarwal.
A rapid fire answer, I'm not convinced with the squad. They still need batsmen.
Okay. Lucknow, again, they were only looking for add-ons, maybe bring in a fast bowler because Mark Wood again has said that he won't be playing this season. Instead, they went on to splurge 16 crores on Nicholas Pooran.
Blunder.
Blunder.
+1.
+1. Great. Mumbai. Okay, so they were looking to get in an all-rounder, probably to replace Karen Pollard, and they also needed that middle-order batsman. Has Cameron Green answered all their prayers?
In a rapid fire answer to that, no. But in another word, maybe atonement for last year. I still think they aired last year. Srini has a different view. I think they aired at last year's auction. This is atonement, a big way towards atonement by getting Cameron Green.
Get a spinner, have an all-round squad.
Yeah.
Okay. Then Punjab. Well, they needed players, a lot of players, especially they needed to take care of their batting lineup. But they have managed to buy back Sam Curran, who was there with them for a much lower price tag about, I think, 3 years ago. Great purchase, answered a few questions that were posed on the Punjab squad.
Great purchase, but like all Punjab teams of the past, it might not matter more than stats at the end of the season.
Okay.
I just go use a Delhi example, a lesser version of Delhi Capitals. After every auction, even Punjab presents like, oh, great team, but when the season begins again, something else happens.
Okay. Rajasthan. Now, Rajasthan needed batsmen, but again, they did not look very active through the auction. What do you think?
I still think based on what that team did last year, they still have enough to go all the way. Their core players are still very, very good. I have good hopes from Rajasthan.
The only thing, great team, but too dependent on revolve too much around Joss Butler, the season that went by.
Yep.
So you'd like to see a little more coming from, you know, the likes, you know, the others. Devdutt Padikkal in particular, for example, you know, or Shimran Hetmeyer, the likes. Yeah,
He needs
yeah.
to do things.
Okay. Now, the next one is Bangalore. They needed an all-rounder because they have a decent pace battery. The batting is almost all in place. But they did not look like, you know, bringing in any big player. Will Jacks is the player that you mentioned, spoke a lot about.
Yes, if they can take a couple of calculated risks and get him into the 11 in the first half, it could be a very, very smart move. But I also get why he might not play because they have 4 overseas players who are ahead of him in the pecking order. But 3 words, play Will Jacks.
What do you think, Srini?
Well, I seriously think that, you know, RCB, I don't know about this particular today's auction, but in general, I think they need to add meat to their batting order. Too much dependency on Virat Kohli, which doesn't click, and which again, you know, the onus, the focus, let it be. If it helps the franchise from a brand perspective, let it be. But then you need to look beyond that.
Okay. And the last team, the team with the biggest purse going into this auction, Hyderabad, they picked up Harry Brooks, 13.2 crores, Mayank Agarwal, somebody both of you have spoken, have said great things about. How do you think that team has managed to come up? Because, okay, another thing, I was just looking at all the purchases made. They've made a lot of the small purchases, uncapped players, 20 lakh rupee base price. They've made more than a few of them. So they have made the highest number of purchases as far as the squad is concerned. I think they've even spent the most. Your take?
Smart buys.
Smart buys. Srini?
I'll go by what Jimmy says. Good, they've got a captain, a great buy in Harry Brooks, and then, you know, Adil Rashid. Great time to have a spinner in the squad. So, quite a list.
Okay. With that, we are going to end the show. So, this was our special coverage here on News 18 for the mini IPL 2023 auction. Thanks a lot to Jamie Alter and Srinivas Rao. We also had Chetan Narula in the studio who helped us, you know, navigate navigate a lot many other aspects of this particular auction. It was very interesting. Top 5 buys as far as I can point out here. Sam Curran going to Punjab for 18.5 crores. Then you had Ben Stokes going for 16.25 crores. Then there was Nicholas Pooran, the surprise buy at 16 crores. You had Harry Brook rounding off that list of top 5 at 13.25 crores. As far as the Indian players are concerned, the highest purchase was for Mayank Agarwal by Hyderabad at 8.25 crore, and then followed by Shivam Mavi and Mukesh Kumar, who had gone to Delhi for about 5.5 crore. And this is what we have as far as all the purchases this IPL auction was concerned. For now, that's all that we have for coverage here on News 18 as far as the IPL auction for 2023 is concerned. My name is Edwin Thomas. I'm being joined by Srinivas Rao, Network 18 Group Editor for Sports, and cricket analyst and expert Jamie Alter. I mean, it's been quite a day. I mean, a lot of money has been spent, not the most, but if we look at the players that have been brought, the top 5 players who commanded the highest price tags, all foreign players, something that has never been seen before. The highest amount paid for an Indian player was 8.25 crores. That was for Mayank Agarwal, who has gone to Hyderabad, probably will end up captaining the team as well. And a surprise package in Mukesh Kumar, who was bought by Delhi for 5.5 crore. What does this tell you about this auction? What exactly were the teams looking for, and which team do you think got what they were looking for?
I think the IPL, especially T20 format, last few years has all been about all-rounders. You know, I mean, more than a few years. I think the West Indies, which are the only team to have won the T20 World Cup twice, their core was all-rounders. And I think the IPL has learned that, maybe a little bit lately, that the Indian cricket system needs more all-rounders coming through. This was always going to be an IPL auction about the all-rounders. No surprise that the top 3 of them are all-rounders. In fact, I tweeted the IPL has always crushed on these light-eyed, light-haired overseas all-rounders. Shane Watson, we already mentioned what he does. So I'm not surprised that these guys went to big bucks. I'm still surprised that CSK paid, was it 16.25 for Ben Stokes. So all these teams, I mean, just to add on what Srini was saying, you cannot fill the shoes of a Kieron Pollard. Not the Pollard, the leader, Pollard, the cheerleader, Pollard, the morale booster, the batsman, the fielder. But in getting someone of that height and that muscular build in Cameron Green, also Srini, Cameron Green can fill the role with Pollard could not. He can also go and open the innings. You know, Australian cricket took a big risk by getting him to open. He never opened. He got a 50, I think, in his first or second match. He's going to be this player around Mumbai Indians, and I hope will also go ahead and build their team. So from that aspect, he's also going to be a huge player to watch out for.
Your take on the big buys, Srini?
Well, as I said, the price at which MI wanted an all-rounder, they went and got Green. I think that was great. The big buys, I would say Mayank was a big buy at 8.25, but yet again a steal for the kind, because they get a captain and they get an opener. I think that, and big buys probably not just in terms of money. Big buys even in terms of the profile that they add.
Right.
I don't know why, but you said not to include Gujarat, but my mind goes there, because for me, 50 lakh for Kane Williamson is good money. Great money to have him right at the top. The amount of experience he brings to the squad, I'm sure, kind of the calmness that he'll add in a last minute situation.
I just don't know how, where are they going to fit the guy in? He's a spent force. That's my, I get it, I'm not disagreeing. Baat to hai, but right now, the current T20 batsman that is Kane Williamson, I don't know. Tough to see him walk into that squad.
Right. Now, among the big buys, what surprised me the most was one Nicholas Pooran going to Lucknow Super Giants for 16 crores. Didn't make any sense. We can talk as much as we want about auction dynamics and where logic lies. I think it's still in the dustbin as far as Srini is concerned.
Yeah, I missed out looking at Kavya's face when Pooran was being there, because like she would have been like, don't these guys watch IPL?
Yeah, exactly.
No,
so again, I know we don't want to talk much about this, but again, what was the logic here? I mean, you have KL Rahul, wicketkeeper batsman, and a captain there. Like, this is even if he's being brought in as a backup wicketkeeper, it's a ridiculously expensive buy. Like, where exactly do you fit him into that playing 11 of a very solid set team? Okay, they let go of Jason Holder maybe to make space for him, but again, this is a batsman wicketkeeper talking about, not a bowler. So What exactly do you think would have been the thought process there as far as picking up Pooran for 16 crores is concerned?
That's the reason I'm sitting here and not in one of these IPL think tanks. It just gobsmacked. Even last year when he went for 8 point something or bordering on 10, I was surprised then. Now see him, and he didn't do a thing, right? So he's just struggling. I get on paper he offers you so much. 2019 World Cup, I was there. He was this emerging player, but he's like sort of like a Manish Pandey. He's not lived up to what people thought he could do. Again, on paper, he's a captain. He keeps big hitter of the ball, but on current form, 16 crores, and like you said, where do you fit him into that team? I don't know. Big surprise for me.
Okay, and would it be right for me to say this, that the story of this auction has been more about the foreign players and not the Indian players? Because I mean, Indian players were sold. It's not that they didn't the teams did not have any space, but clearly there is some sort of strategy when you see franchise after franchise going after foreign players for the kind of money that has been poured in just into this one small auction, which is not going to work out for a very long time, because very soon you will be having the mega auction as well.
Well, if you remove those 3 all-rounders aside, okay, Sam Curran,
Ben Stokes.
Yeah, Ben Stokes and Green. Then the story has been about specialists, and then doesn't matter whether it's been a foreigner or an Indian. You have just gone about putting specialists in place, because at the end of the day, now with this impact player rule coming in, you have the liberty to go in for that change, and that helps you. So what was this whole fascination for all-rounders at one time, which we saw kind of diminishing over a period of time, because probably, and I'm like don't hold me to it, but then probably was the demand versus supply thing in terms of an all-rounder. The quintessential all-rounder, was an all-rounder available, and then you thought, okay, how many slots can I block in a playing 11 from an all-rounder perspective, and that was the whole thinking. And if that was not happening, I was willing to invest in a young India star who came at a far lesser price and probably have a bigger talent pool at my disposal, right? Now with impact player coming in, that onus is back on specialists. So I don't mind spending big on a specialist again.
Okay.
And because I know that I have the cushion to choose, right? And therefore the dependency on all-rounder has gone down. I am not saying that the need for an all-rounder has diminished or disappeared altogether. That will never happen. From the 80s and from the time of the Imran Khans and the Bothans till today, an all-rounder was relevant, an all-rounder will remain relevant. That's not going anywhere. The point is, today, look at the all-rounders that, don't look at it as all-rounders alone. Look at why probably CSK may have gone for Ben Stokes. As we spoke earlier, the need to have an interim leadership role perhaps, and again we are sitting on the outside, I can only guess, if MS Dhoni were to go out, right? Likewise, MI, again, there is a gaping hole that's been left by Karen Pollard's exit, and again, CSK, Dwayne Bravo, the same thing, right? So there's been a gaping hole that's been left by Karen Pollard. How? Somewhere you have to fill in that kind of a thing. And Sam Curran, I mean, I would, all-rounder, no all-rounder, I would just go for Sam. Why would I let go of Sam Curran? I mean, he's to me is the most valuable T20, one of the most valuable T20 cricketers right now.
Okay.
Right? So, yeah.
And I think recency bias is definitely a part of it. At the end of the day, all of us in the media will talk about the names and the price tag attached. Top 3 guys, right? Had Sam Curran not had a man of the series performance, had he not been picked, had he had a terrible T20 World Cup 6 weeks ago, he would not have got this kind of money. Ben Stokes, 15 months, he had not played a T20 for England.
Right.
All that he's getting this money. England's system itself does not see him worthy of playing T20s, right? For that long, So why is it value now? Because at the end of the day, he was 52 not out in a World Cup final. The Pakistan's bowling was outstanding. It's what they did. Cameron Green has been talked about for the last year. So Harry Brook, 468 runs in a test series. Had he not scored those runs, he probably wouldn't have gone. So I think a lot of it is, yes, the all-rounders are very, very crucial. It was always going to be about the all-rounders. But what have these 3 all-rounders done? A lot in a very recent span of time, which is why they and Harry Brook got that money. Again, Nicholas Pooran, no idea what's happening there.
Will it be right for me at any degree to say that some of these could have been panic purchases? Especially given the kind of bidding that we saw, especially the kind of money that was spent on each of these players.
I don't really see a panic purchase when I'm trying to, I am trying to go and see what, let's say, a KKR has done. Well,
I mean, KKR didn't have the.
No, I'm just saying
purse.
that's what. So that's what. So, they have literally kind of, if they have I don't know, do you know Vaibhav Arora?
Yeah.
Okay, I have not.
I've heard the name, but I can't say I know too much what he does.
Okay, so they've bought
But I
him
glanced
at
through this, yeah.
base price. They must have identified,
Yeah.
I'm assuming, right? Enjagadisan. They're like, kind of, so they knew exactly where they're to. I don't see any panic buys as yet.
Yeah, I don't know if it's if it's panic. A couple of the reactions you're watching and like the look on the face of a certain member is like, should we be going that much? But yeah, I think I agree with you. I don't know how much of it is actually a panic purchase. It seems like they had a clear thing. But again, you can debate whether XYZ player should have gone for that.
Exactly.
That's it. Whether that's panic, I don't think so.
Okay. What do you think has been the story for the Indian players who have been sold so far in this auction? I mean, we saw Vivrant Sharma from Jammu going to Hyderabad for 2.6 crores. You had N. Jagdishan being taken back by Chennai for 90 lakhs. KS Bharat being brought by Gujarat for 1.2 crores. You have Mukesh Kumar, the highest purchase as far as an uncapped player is concerned for this auction, going to Delhi for 5.5 crores. And then you also had the story for Will Jacks. We'll come to that later. But as far as the Indian buys are concerned, do you think there has been enough thought put into it? Or again, were they just trying to fill slots and keep the right kind of backups?
So okay, before this show actually began, and we were just discussing like, what is the trend that we are likely to see. And there were 2 points I made. One was 15 minutes into the auction and we'll probably come to know what the trend is going to be, right?
Exactly.
But other than that, I was still leaning to what I witnessed in the mega auction, where honestly I thought, because mega auction took me by complete surprise. Right, I really thought with the kind of price purses that auctions were, franchises were going to, I would see a lot more spending happening on stars. There now the spending happened on specific players that franchises wanted. Like for example, Mumbai Indians wanted Ishan Kishan, so the money on the check was not the problem as long as they had the purse for it, right? But look at the way they identified and went after domestic India stars, and I thought today, before coming into this auction, I thought that would be the story I'll probably get to see again. And I honestly, so on Jio Cinema, Chris Gale and some of the other hosts on the show, Suresh Raina and all, they did mock auctions. And Chris Gale went on to say that, Sam Curran, according to him, should fetch around 16 to 17 crore, which is exactly what has happened today, right? But yesterday, when I was looking to this, I was like, really, probably, what if these guys completely go unsold? And again, India domestic story prevails, right? But what I've seen in this auction today is for the first time I've seen a balance. I've seen a balance between good overseas players being given the opportunity, the real good names being paid top dollar, and again, India players being like kind of, there being an investment on it. So I think there's been a fair balance so far, what I've seen from this auction.
I think given the fact that, like you said, this is like a mini auction, if you want to call it that, there were no big Indian cap names, right? I mean, Mayank Agarwal, the biggest name, I think, then probably a distant second would be his Karnataka teammate Manish Pandey.
Yeah.
I was a bit skeptical whether Mayank, yes, I get the demand. There are at least 4 franchises to my mind who would want a player like Mayank Agarwal who opens, can be very, very selfless. I think last year he took one on the shoulder and batted in a different place. I think that probably won him brownie points. And he's a leader. But his IPL was borderline disastrous. His Syed Mushtaq Ali performance this year was abysmal. And his Vijay Hazare Trophy was not so good. So in recent form, he didn't have much. But I'm glad to see that a player of his class and stature was valued. Mukesh Kumar, we've spoken about, small time story, him doing well. But there were not too many of the capped Indian names to speak of, so I think that we cannot talk too much about. But the young players, you need to see this. What we talked about earlier, about what they go back and tell their domestic teammates. Okay? It's not about what I earned, but what I learned from being in that dressing room with a Gale or a Hussey. All these guys, who come to the CSK ranks. I think that is always going to be, from my perspective, what I look at when it comes to the uncapped Indian players. And I hope that this happens here as well.
Where did that boy go, Sheikh Rashid, to Chennai, right?
No, I don't know. I don't have the details for that yet.
Yeah, he went to Chennai.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm so happy for that boy. Yeah, he scored a 50 in the semi-final, under-19 World Cup semi-final. Missed out in the auction list. I remember, Jamie, just before the mega auction, I think 48 hours before the mega auction, I desperately got a call from a friend from Andhra, very dear friend, saying, Shri, this boy's name is not there in the list. And they tried calling, and but it was, I mean, I don't know whether it was a technical thing or what, or was it late or what. But poor fellow, I mean,
But see where he's gone.
exactly. And today he
CSK.
gets what he's worth, and he's gone to a good franchise, and I really hope that's the story we're looking at.
Now, you're talking about these stories about the smaller players, and of course the place it comes. Okay, I'm being told that KKR is holding a press conference right now. Let's go to it.
What sort of pricing that would have?
Sitting there, when you see a player start his career and he just looks at home.
We have a, coach calls it a gun 11 that we have, and then we already had 11 plus 3. Now we've added 2. Hopefully we'll add 2 or 3 more, and then we're good. And everybody keeps saying, "Oh, you have many slots to fill." No, we don't need to fill 25 slots. We have never filled 25 slots except in the pandemic years, because of the quarantining requirement in case of replacement and all that. So you have to make sure that the squad, that's been our philosophy. One, the decisions you make, you back it, and you have to give people enough of a run. You can't fight injuries. It's a freak injury that Venkatesh Iyer had. I mean, Shardul, if you say he's in and out, I don't know what you mean, because he's been such a consistent performer with the bat and ball, and he's a match winner, basically. So you're delighted to have him as an all-rounder. So when you bat up to 8, even in the 11, not even taking into account the impact player rule, so you're batting very deep. When you have a Sunil Narayana coming in at 8, he's scored the fastest 50 in IPL history. So if he's batting at 8, and you still have a Lakh and a Umesh and a Varun. Varun will argue with you saying he's a batsman as well. So I think we're very happy with that lineup. And now it's about making sure that it's a long season, so we have enough options to work through. I mean, getting Gurbaz at 50 lakhs on a one-way trade was we think it was a steal. So we're very happy with that, getting Lakh back. And so we invest in people and we would like to have them back. So when we get a Vaibhav back and you get a Lakh back, we're sorry to lose Mavi though, but anyway, that's the way it goes sometimes.
Just a quick word on having Mr. Pandit at the table. How has the experience been having him around and at the auction table?
No, he's fantastic. I mean, and you guys have seen him, followed him in domestic cricket, and I mean, I think the thing that I've always tracked him and tried to keep an close eye out, but he comes with a very deep desire to win. And a very sincere, down-to-earth, straightforward individual who has a very simple philosophy. He says, results we don't control, but preparation we do. So I think what you'll see with him, even in the auction, the kind of time he's invested, and luckily for us, Madhya Pradesh won by an innings, and that's how he was able to come. Otherwise, he was going to miss the auction. But he called me up day before and said, "Oh, by the way, we've finished the game." I said, "Okay, here's the ticket, please come." So we were lucky to have him. He was not supposed to be here. So it's terrific, he's very thoughtful, listens a lot to, and he's new to the setup, so therefore he's coming to terms with him. I think he's enjoying the auction a lot, So, so it's been terrific. So. Great. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
So that was a press conference by the Kolkata franchise. Srini, would you agree with what they had to say about their team combination and about being so proud about having batsmen all the way up to number 8, especially given the kind of squad that they have managed to build?
Yeah, so when the press conference was happening, I was counting. 16 players on the list. I still think they need more. I want to know. And what is the kind of money that they have? They have some 5.5 crore left. So they have decent money to invest in a couple of women, but they still need a good team. Now, when I'm looking at the squad, the Kolkata Knight Riders squad, the one thing that is not there is a batting lineup.
Exactly. No, that's exactly my point. He just said that they have batting going all the way down to number 8. What
Well,
batting
I
is he
mean,
talking about?
Yes, I mean, if you can probably hold a bat and stand there, if that's batting, then
But hasn't
fine.
that been KKR's problem for the last like 5-6 years?
Exactly.
Ever
Like,
since
exactly.
Gautam Gambhir
Huh?
quit, actually.
Absolutely. They didn't know where to bat Owen Morgan. They didn't know where to bat Dinesh Karthik. They didn't know where to bat Nitish Rana.
Ajinkya Rahane.
Rahane, they just don't know. I mean, Robin Uttapa, you know, it's like go through, okay, again, you're not going to go through 10, 12 matches with the same 11, but try 5 matches, you know, back guys, right? It seemed like, you know, when they had Shubman Gill, things were going well, but again, it's not working out there as well.
And
Shreyas
sometimes
Iyer-
it's unfair, you know, the pressure that a Nitish Rana takes.
Absolutely.
And, you know, even the Venkatesh Iyer, actually, the onus that has been there on him, you know, and Sunil Narine, you know, once in a while clicks, but that's
Once
not his
in a while.
job. That's not his job. You need to get, you know, and you can't expect Shreyas Iyer here to be doing wonders. You need a well-oiled squad. I mean, let's see what they do with this. I'm not entirely convinced with
And to
KKR saying that they
add
are
on to their
sorted.
problems. I
They
mean,
are-
Pat Cummins not playing this IPL, that just, you know, compounds whatever issues that they have. I mean, it's not just batting, even their bowling doesn't look to have enough teeth.
They've looked a bit off, like I said, the last few seasons. Yes, they've got to the knockouts and all, I think all but one season in that time. But again, you look at man to man, forget the squad, you look at the 11 that they put on the field. It's just, there's talent there, but like that Punjab franchise, you know, the roles, the positions, you know. And the KKR's middle order has been bad for a long, long time. And like Srini said, I don't think what they've done today is really solve that problem.
And look at a guy like Andre Russell. Like,
Yeah, wow.
obviously,
I mean-
like, you know, a huge T20 talent. But with the thing with Russell is, if he's clicked in the first match, he'll click, you know, for
Through the-
rest of
through the
season.
tournament, true.
He's either there or he's not there, right? So there is no middle ground to this. But then let's you know, keep one thing in mind. Come what may, you actually end up when the season starts, you do see the Knights, like, you know, kind of doing their thing and making
But
their
they
way
get
up,
there.
you know, and
They
they've
find
been
a
there.
way. Yeah, they find a way, but it's like the classic, like the Punjab case. At some point, either Punjab will lose their first 5 or win their first 5, and then it's like a different team puts together. I either hope the KKR don't go down that road because, yes, Mumbai and CSK are the IPL, but as a fan base, KKR is second to none of them. They have a huge fan base, you know, and 12-14 when they won.
And they're 2-time champions. I mean,
It was in this studio.
nothing-
Gambhir was sitting here, and the aura that he had when guys walked, it was in the studio. He's sitting where you were sitting, and we were like, wow, you know, he was an India player. He scored Test 100. He won a World Cup. But the aura of a Gambhir leading on KKR, right? A fantastic player. Uske baad, like you said, they've just not come close.
Yeah, and by the way, do credit to the boys. You know, the Nitish Ranas and the, you know, and all the Venkatesh Iyers and the Varun Chakravartis and all of them, all these young guys, the way they have made sure that, you know, Kolkata retains that fighting spirit. But, you know, for the franchise to say that, no, we are sorted. You're saying we are sorted is just putting more pressure on these guys. You go first,
But
buy the
Srini,
right kind of.
ये बात बताओ, is the time gone for this over dependency on Narayan and Russell? To my mind, it was 2 years ago they hit that peak.
yeah.
Well, right now, I would like to assume that it's helping them from a CPL perspective. They want to
they
build
got
those
that.
synergies. Those synergies are what it's helping them continue with the West Indian cricketers. Yes, but I agree. The time has come. The time has come.
Russell is
and-
one slip at third man away from missing a season.
Yeah.
Na? Again, when he pulls it off, it's fantastic, but he's not doing it, which is natural for a player of his
Right.
workload. It's fine.
Okay. So I just want to quickly go through, like, and this is going to be rapid fire, just like what they're going to do at the auction. Okay. So before the auction began, Chennai, they were looking to add on to all aspects. They got Ben Stokes, they got Ajinkya Rahane, they got Jason Holder. Quite literally, they have managed to fit in one player in each slot. But is it enough?
I think with CSK, yes, because of the MS Dhoni factor and that loyalty/family factor. I think they're going to have a good season.
Okay.
Rapid fire, you want it? I'm giving you rapid fire.
I
That's
think
exactly what I
right now CSK to me looks pretty decent.
Pretty decent. Okay. Now, Delhi, they were struggling to find a proper opener. And if possible, you know, after the departure of Marcus Stoinis, we all saw how they needed an all-rounder with, who did they get? With Phil Salt coming in and with Mukesh Kumar coming in. Do you think they have managed to find something which would help them to be title contenders?
I'll go with what Jamie said. Delhi always ends up giving a great look to the squad whenever they're every auction day I can think of 15 years. the evening of the auction, you'll say Delhi, great squad. When the season begins,
Yeah, you're like left
begin to
holding
look
your
at
head.
And
something
also,
else.
just to add on that, they've never been able. They always had that one top order overseas batsman who they've not been sure what to do with. Be it Ross Taylor, Jesse Ryder, Angelo Matthews, Steve Smith. So where are they going to fit him? Salt is only an opener, and he's a keeper. And Delhi have always had a problem with the keeper in that they've always backed one person, right? So I just same
I
thing
think Steve Smith has opted out of this season.
but like in the past, like you bat him 3 when he was not scoring, and they always had that one overseas player who's not been able to get enough regular playing time. And I think the template will be repeated, and Phil Salt won't get too much playing time.
Okay. Gujarat, now they would have just looked to like add on a few players to bolster their squad. They got Kane Williamson for a base price of 2 crores. Still looking like title contenders.
I think so, and I think a lot of franchises would have been very, very wary of this Gujarat at this auction, because last year, if you asked pretty much anyone, they would have said, they have 4 match winners, that's it. But with that team, they went on to win. LSG had a much better team on paper, to my mind, right? We're all going, ye team hai. They did pretty well, but Gujarat, I think it changed the game, So a lot of franchises will be very, very keen to see. And you've got someone like Kane Williamson. I get it, but I'll say it again. Kaha fit karoge Williamson ko in that title-winning lineup?
I'll say this, that just speaking from where Jamie's left, I've said this to Gujarat Titans, that last year when I got a call from some people I know, what do you think about the team? I said, I don't like it. I said, I am not convinced by what you've done. When they went back from the auction. And then I remember 2 days after the final got over, I called a person and said, I need to go back to what I said and address it, because I still was, in hindsight, I'm still not convinced with what you did. But then I seriously need to take my words back and congratulate you for what you've achieved. Now the good thing is, barring Lockie Ferguson, who they let go, they have not tinkered much with the winning unit. Right. That stays intact, and that gives me confidence that, never change a winning unit. Why? I mean, first year you won it, it's a dream team. Like what happened with Rajasthan Royals in 2008, right? So continue with it. Kane Williamson, as I said, I personally think a calming effect on this bunch, and a batsman in place, who can probably maneuver things. That said, just have 9.5 crore left.
Okay, we are going to stick to the whole rapid fire thing. So, Kolkata, they needed batsmen, they needed bowlers, most importantly fast bowlers. They have their Varun Chakravartis and all in place. I don't think they did any meaningful business here.
Rapid fire answer, they should have got Mayank Agarwal.
Rapid fire answer, I'm not convinced with the squad. They still need batsmen.
Okay. Lucknow, again, they were only looking for add-ons, maybe bring in a fast bowler, because Mark Wood again has said that he won't be playing this season. Instead, they went on to splurge 16 crores on Nicholas Pooran.
Blunder.
+1.
+1. Great. Mumbai, okay, so they were looking to get in an all-rounder, probably to replace Karen Pollard, and they also needed that middle-order batsman. Has Cameron Green answered all their prayers?
In a rapid-fire answer to that, no. But in another word, maybe atonement for last year. I still think they aired last year. Srini has a different view. I think they aired at last year's auction. This is atonement, a big way towards atonement by getting Cameron Green.
Get a spinner, have an all-round squad.
Yeah.
Okay. Then Punjab. Well, they needed players, a lot of players, especially they needed to take care of their batting lineup. But they have managed to buy back Sam Curran, who was there with them for a much lower price tag about, I think, 3 years ago. Great purchase, answered a few questions that were posed on the Punjab squad.
Great purchase, but like all Punjab teams of the past, it might not matter more than stats at the end of the season.
Okay.
I just use a Delhi example, a lesser version of Delhi Capitals. After every auction, even Punjab presents like, oh, great team, but when the season begins again, something else happens.
Okay. Rajasthan. Now, Rajasthan needed batsmen, but again, they did not look very active through the auction. What do you think?
I still think based on what that team did last year, they